Hello everyone, how are you all? कैसे हैं आप सभी लोग? I hope you all must be having a great time. And now we are moving ahead in our history optional. This is going to be lecture number 7, Vedic age, guys. Now, before moving ahead, let us fix our timeline. In our timeline, first of all, we have started from 20 lakh BC till 10k. We have understood it in the form of Paleolithic, 10k to 6k Mesolithic, 6k to 1k you will be finding Neolithic. Alright. Then I have told you 3500 onwards we have started getting Chalcolite. Then I have told you 2500 ahead we have also started getting Megalithic. Alright. In the IVC time frame, last two lectures we have understood the story from 2300 to 1750. I hope you must be understanding this. In today's class, our story will be from 1500 to 600 BC. Now we will be moving till 600 BC, starting somewhere around over here 1500 BC. This is our most important topic for history optional because over here a lot of question comes in the examination. That is your Vedic age, guys. Very important. Very important, guys. Vedic age. You can understand that the culture we are having is over here. The culture you are seeing right now, the roots are over here, and the roots are too primary as well, too earlier as well might have built. But as an academic, as an academic history, we will be understanding Vedic age from, right? That what is the academician are accepting the period of this Vedic age. So I will be telling you why we have fixed the age 1500 to 600 BC and why this is debatable as well. The outline you will be understanding that the major thing which changed, if I ask you that IVC people were completely agriculturist in nature, right? Then how come Vedic age people, earlier Vedic age people were nomad pastoralist, that they were not practicing agriculture as their primary occupation? That means there is a disconnect, guys. There is a disconnect which is not understood by historians completely. That's why there is a huge debate. And this debate is primarily coming of certain people who came over here. Those are termed to be as Aryans. So first our understanding will be about Aryans, right? This is the core of Vedic age. When you will understand Aryans, you have to ask two things. Who were Aryans? Where they came from if they were outsider came from. And there is a huge lot of debates over here, guys, right? That we have to understand the first part. The second part which we have to go through is the sources over here. How do we get to know about Vedic age? Are we having any archaeological, very limited archaeological sources, but major sources we are having over here is the literary sources, literary tradition. Literary sources we are having over here in the Vedic literature you will be finding, right? That's why now is the time to understand the literature, Vedic literature. It was not the first class where we have to understand about the literature, guys. That was not the first class, right? Because I told you that in sources at the right point of time, I will be elaborating about the literary sources, archaeological sources. And this is the first time you are seeing where we will see the elaboration correctly. What I have seen, what you have also understood somewhere, that in the starting only you will be letting know these literary sources, which is futile, guys, right? It burdens basically, right? So sources we will be understanding. And the third part is most important. From these sources, we build the transition of Rig Vedic people to later Vedic people. Okay, these two transitions we try to understand. And we understood it in the form of, just wait. Right, so over here I told you the transition in the form of, first of all, geography will change. So we'll be understanding what was the geography of Rigvedic, and later when geography changes, you will be finding the economy changes. We will be understanding what was the economical aspect of both. When economy change, polity change. When polity change, society change. When society change, automatically the culture, religion will be changing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things we have to focus upon of Rigvedic and later Vedic. The transition we have to see, that how this transition happened over here, right? I hope you understood like this. We will have to understand. Now, this is our outline of this particular Vedic age. Vedic age की outline आपकी ये है. Now you see the PYQs. You put any PYQ over here. You try to read out these PYQ. Pause the video. Try to understand and put them into the outline. You will be finding it. State institution, polity, taxation, economy. Languages, archaeological sources, vast corpus of Vedic literature. Again, literature part, Upanishad literature part, religion, classification of gods, literature. Then you will be finding again Varna system, society. Okay, regarding Vedic Harappan relation, that is the connecting question that we will answer anyway Upanishadic over here again, right? So every question arranges over here, right? So every question over here will be dealt with this particular framework. You don't have to worry about it, and I will be teaching you this in a very different way which you will be also understanding it, guys. Okay, now for the first attempters who are having this first attempt, try to understand as it is. The Vedic age utility is optional very much, then second is in prelims, third is in mains, right? So let us start and understand first of all about the Aryans question. Aryans, first question is, who are Aryans? Who are these Aryans? Right? Who? Is this a particular Aryans are a race over here? If I ask you, is this a race? That Aryans is a race? No. Are Aryans denote to tribe? Tribe, are they particular tribe over here? Like different tribes you must have heard of. These were also not referred to be as of tribes. Earlier this used to, some people took it as race, some people took it as tribe, right? But you will find this is also not tribe over here. Then what is the most acceptable explanation? The most acceptable explanation right now is that Aryans denote to the speakers of one language over here that we call as Proto-Indo-European languages. Indo-European language. Try to understand it carefully. That means this is a, I can say, linguistic group. It is a linguist group over here. And which language they speak? They speak Proto-Indo-European language. You try to understand. That means there might be many tribes, A, B, C, D, E, F. But if they are speaking one language that is Proto-Indo-European language form, then they are Aryans. There might be, so this is not a specific tribe. There might be many races, A, B, C, D, E, F. Many races are in a region, but they are speaking somehow same languages. This is Proto-Indo-European languages. Then they are Aryans. Are you understanding? So it is not a race, it is not a tribe, but they are the speakers of Proto-Indo-European languages. That's why today historians accept, or there is a wide acceptability that Aryans is a speaker of certain language. Alright. Now Aryans, we have got the Vedic reference for it. In Rig Veda, there are many times Arya word is written. Arya. In Avesta, in Zend Avesta, this is the Iranian text, and I'll be telling you what is the link behind that. There is one book written as Zend Avesta, and in that Arya is mentioned. Now, as per the literal meaning of this Arya, you will be finding, like for example, in Buddhism, Char Arya Satya, noble truths, right? So Arya was meant to be for used as the word for noble, respected, and cultured, right? Cultured. This is fixed. Okay? That Arya might, this word in Rigved and this Arya in Avesta and Buddhism Arya as well might be denoting to noble, respected, and cultured. If I want to say someone is noble, respected, I would say Arya. Right? So this has been highlighted. But over here, this term which we have given is for the people who speak the same language, that is Proto-Indo-European. Right now, you will be finding there are many languages like Lithuanian, Latin, Greek, English, Iranian, Persian भी बोल सकते हैं, Hindi और Sanskrit basically. These are old languages, Sanskrit. So this is said to be that they have derived from one particular language only, and there are several different branches. In branches it spread, and this we call as Proto-Indo-European languages, or you can say Indo-European languages, right? And this there has been a common origin of this, common origin. So they say that there has been a common origin of this language over here, which I will be telling you about as well. So see this slide. In the 19th century, scholars, 19th centuries means 800 research we are talking about. Similarities among languages. So this is the linguistic group who came first and over here inquiring about Sanskrit, Greek, Latin, Persian, and compared these Germanic languages. For mother, they found out matter, matra, Latin mater, pronunciate the way you want, English mother. Father, Pitra, pater, father. Three, Treya, Tres, three. So that means they find the similarity with the root words over here. The root words are same. That might, this should not be accidental, right? The similarities were too systematic to be accidental. So the linguistic proposed all these languages descend from common ancestor language called Proto-Indo-European languages. There might have been the connection over here, the Proto-Indo-European speakers, and this we are calling that they have to be someone. Later on, with the archaeological finding and other findings you will be finding, you will be seeing that we have termed them as Aryans, right? Now also understand, when they studied about these languages over here, just wait, when they studied about these languages over here, they found out that these languages are having the words for horses, right? Wheel, wagon, cattle, but they were lacking terms for rice, wheat, or you can say other things as well. But these crops were not widely present over here in their text, whereas in their text these things were present. And what text I'm talking about? Obviously Rig Veda and all that, which I'll be telling you later on as well. But right now they are reading these texts and finding out this. So they are saying that these speakers of these languages were primarily, you will be finding pastoralist people, pastoralist people, right? And they were saying that they primarily might be living in the temperate region, not tropical region, because tropical crops were not present over in their vocab. Are you understanding? So pastureless, temperate region, that is how they are coming with the theories now of who can be they, right? Where they came from basically. They are saying that these are the people speakers of Proto-Indo-European languages, but where they are residing. So this you have to understand with different theories over here, guys. Different theories of where these Aryans were from, where these Aryans were from, right? Or where these Aryans migrated from. This we have to understand. Very important thing, which you might be knowing with respect to different theories of Central Asian theory, Steppist theory, out of Indian origin theory. ये नाम से पता होगा, लेकिन इसकी connectivity I will be telling you how you have to connect things, right? So one is Central Asian theory. Central Asian theory. Everything is written, right? Like this, you will be finding everything is I have written over here. Central Asian theory. Steppe Pontic Caspian theory. This is the most acceptable one, and I will be telling you this. Iranian Afghan theory. Archaic theory. Indigenous Aryan theory. 5 theories you will be understanding, right? So make it like this only. Like this, like this, like this, like this, and like this. I will be explaining you the most acceptable theory over here, which is given by Maria Gimbutas, J.P. Mallory, Asko Parpula. Maria Gimbutas is a big name, guys. A very big name in all over the world with respect to archaeology and anthropologists. Now you try to understand. I am giving you the concept over here now. For your conceptual clarity, you try to understand. Okay? If I say this is your Arabic Peninsula, this is our beautiful India over here, and this is Horn of Africa, and this is African continent. This is over here your Mediterranean Sea, right? This is over here you will be finding Caspian Sea, right? And over here like this you will be finding Ural as well. If I tell you where is Steppe region is over here, guys. Steppe region is over here, all right? This is. And as per this theory which I am explaining you, the most acceptable theory is Steppe theory only over here. Steppe theory, right? This is what I am explaining you right now, Steppe theory. You try to understand that humans earlier migrated from this particular place to this particular place, right? Humans migrated over here. And when they migrated over here, you will be finding that primary occupation over here because over here these are the grasslands area, right? And agriculture is not very much suitable in these temperate areas. Okay, right now it is suitable because of other practices, irrigation and canals and other things, but initially it was not suitable. So over here people chose pastoralism, cattle occupation over here, cattle occupation. They were cattle herders or raiders, herders, right? You can say pasturalist. They were pasturalist over here, guys. These people were pastoralist in nature. But whereas at the same time, if you will be finding the people near Turkey, they were agriculturist in nature. You try to understand. यहाँ agriculture है. Baluchistan agriculture है. This I am talking about roughly from 2500 BC onwards. I will be telling you. Okay. Now, what you will be finding, now these people are basically known as Proto-Indo-European people, initially where they were residing, as per this particular theory, which you will be understanding, right? Just wait, guys, just wait. Just wait, one important thing, important call came up. Just wait, right? Right. So I was telling you about over here that there are already Baluchistan agriculture is flourishing from 7th because these are agriculture rich region over here. But these people are pastoralist in nature, you will be finding, right? Now, when cattle is important for them, obviously, what they will be doing, they will be utilizing cattle for fodder and food. All right, they will be utilizing for food as well, and they will be utilizing this dairy products as well from the cattle. All right, what happened over here with these people was there was certain genetic mutation happened in these people, guys. Genetic mutation. And this genetic mutation you will be finding happened in the form of lactose tolerancy. They became lactose tolerant, you will be finding. Generally, humans till now are not all humans are till now not lactose tolerant. Means in the childhood they can digest, but in the adult age they are not able to digest milk, right? Lactose intolerance is there. But these are the people over here had this genetic mutation. We don't know how, but there are multiple factors to it. We don't need to go that much deep, but lactose tolerance feature came to these particular people. So what happened with lactose tolerance? What you can say with respect to lactose tolerance, you can say they become more, their protein intake become much better, right? And they become more stronger, more taller, and their strength was huge over here. Strength they had was huge as compared to other fellow human beings who were basically taking this agriculturist product over here, right? So they were taking meat, they were taking dairy products. The intake was huge as compared to other human beings. You try to understand, all right? Second thing what happened over here is these people regions, these people of this region will start domesticating the horse over here, domesticating the horse over here, domesticated horse. Okay, these people started domesticating horse over here, guys. Now, to domesticate a horse, it requires a long time period. It requires clear fields as well. So it took about humans or approximately 5,000 years to domesticate a horse, guys. One of the difficult animal to domesticate. Now, when we found that the sources, we found that horses, these people were having the command over horses. At the same time, no horse evidence you will be getting from Indus Valley civilization. All right, that's why there is no link of Indus Valley civilization and no direct link of Vedic age. Right, they domesticated the horses. These people later on over here, because you try to understand when cattle are important, that means I will try to accumulate more and more cattle. That means for survival, I need to have more cattle and I will be raiding other territories as well. So all these are Proto-Indo-European speakers, but there might be many tribes, there might be many clans, there might be many race as well. They might be fighting with each other for cattle resources. That is how in Vedic age you are seeing the exact features which are happening over here. How come that? So I'm telling you the link of this over here. How early Vedic feature was already present in these areas, right? So you will be finding there were wars, right? And in the wars, there were basically they had to fight over here, right? So the invention which led over here was a wheel, and they were the first user of chariots over here, chariots. So combine these four things, guys. Combine these four things and you will find that why they are one of the most fierce warriors in history over here. So these, well, obviously their economy is based upon fighting, right? So fighting, and whereas Indus Valley civilization was an egalitarian, I have told you, they were not fighting, no evidence of war. But over here, war is their primary thing in order to sustain, right? And they will be utilizing the best quality horses, wheels, chariots, which we have not found any of these in IVC. Try to understand. Now, when I am accumulating wealth over here, automatically I have to fight. And in order to fight, who will be having more power? Male will be having more power or females will be having more power? You will be saying that in order to fight, males automatically, biology is saying that they have more power over here. Right? So that means males will be preferred. Right? That means males will be preferred. They have to fight, right? They have to accumulate resources. That is why in these particular societies, patriarchy features started to come. Patriarchy features started to come over here. That is a male dominated society. Male dominated society. That is why I am saying Indus Valley is primarily egalitarian. How come in Vedic age you will be finding patriarchal setup out of nowhere? So there is no connection. Now somewhere there has to be connection, right? So you will be finding patriarchy came from this particular region because of war-torn society, and this economy was based on war. Right? Now, in order to sustain patriarchy, you will be finding, because of the war, you will be finding that there will be one system which they will be creating over here, that is of primogeniture. Primogeniture means that the property will be passed on to the eldest male higher of that particular family. Primogeniture, right? And this feature you have seen later on over here as well, Vedic age as well. How come? Because there is a connection between them. Right? Now in the war, if you want to fight, earlier Indus Valley civilization, primary thing was fertility. Fertility was important for them, right? Now when they came over here, when we see over here, now fertility is not important for them because agriculture is not their occupation. Their occupation is cattle herders, pastoralist. So for them, fighting is more important. So the gods you will be finding, agar agriculture hota to gods is mother goddess. But over here, the religious things also will be changing because now you will be worshipping warlords. Warlords will be created by human. That is why in India, the feature will be taken by this feature of warlord will be taken by Indra. There will be worship of Indra. In somewhere there will be worship of Zeus. Somewhere there will be worship of other warlord. But suppose Europe they will expand, they will be worshipping some other Zeus over here. Over here you will be finding Indra. Right? Same god but different names you are finding, and this is a war god. In IVC there was a culture of mother goddess. Why? Because the fertility was appreciated. But over here, power is appreciated, strength is appreciated. So warlord came over here, right? That is why you will be finding in Rig Veda a lot of mention of Indra out of nowhere. Where is the link? The link is over here, guys. Right? This is one feature. And these all features you will be trying to understand now. What is this theory? Steppy theory. Steppy theory. That how this came over here. Now, as per Maria Gimbutas, she solidly said that earlier societies were matriarchal in nature, right? Because of this economy where strength is more appreciated, the society went on to becoming patriarchy. Now these people will be spreading, guys. These people will be spreading now here in Europe as well and downwards as well. So this is known as the branches of Indo-European now. So this branch will be expanding one to Indo-Iranian. So this is known as Indo-Iranian branch. Indo-Aryan branch or Indo-Iranian branch. One of the branch will be spreading in the Indian Northwest. And this is nothing but our Rigvedic culture over here, guys. Rigvedic culture over here. Right? And now we are going to study in detail about all these. Okay, Steppy theory, are you understanding? So they are saying, now simply you can write, this was for understanding. Dekho, over here, which I have told you that over here, these societies or these earlier were known as Yamanaya, Shintasha, Andronovo, right? And then Indo-Iranian and then Aryans over here, Indo-Aryans basically of India, right? So you will be finding Yamanaya, Shintasha, Andronovo. So Yamanaya, Sintasha, Andronovo, Indo-Iranians, and then Indo-Aryans you will be finding, right? Evidence, comparative linguistic, horse and chariot archaeology, ancient DNA studies also we have found over here. Most accepted explanation among historians, linguists, archaeologists, and genetics people. Now, I will be telling you one thing as well, but in the last, there is a link over here you will be finding of linguist, of archaeologist, of DNA experts as well, and of the literary sources as well. You will be finding archaeologists, DNA expert, linguistic experts as well, and geneticists, DNA को geneticists भी बोल सकते हैं, and historians as well, that they are appreciating this theory over here. Central Asian theory, earlier given by Max Miller and Mortimer Wheeler over here. But their arguments were they basically migrated from Central Asia. And this was the main basis of Central Asian theory, right? Now, scholars accept that there was no innovation. But let me tell you truly that these people who are powerful will be, wherever they will be going, they will be having the dominant culture. Even if we utilize these non-politicals, like we have to be politically careful that they migrated, not invaded. But in real thing, if the strong people are going into anyone's territory, they will try to dominate, guys. You try to understand, right? This is not giving us the feel that we are inferior, someone is inferior just because he is not Aryan. Because later on, in that particular time period, Britishers used this theory that we are coming from the Aryan stream and we are meant to rule over you. This is wrong, right? Because the utilization of history, they are doing it in a very wrong way, where they are basically making people understand that they are meant to be ruled by someone else. This is a wrong thing. But you try to understand, in reality, these people over here residing in somewhere in steppe had one of the very robust life in terms of which made them more superior in terms of strength, right? And at that point of time, wherever they migrated, they might have clashed with the indigenous population as well. That's why how come you are seeing that the dominant culture over here later on was Vedic literature? Vedic literature. How come that? Right? And you will be finding over here the culture was Zoroastrian, you will be finding, and there is similarity between these two religions because their religion has been passed on, guys. Their culture has been passed on over here. Right? Try to understand this. Now, this is one theory. Second is Iranian Afghan theory. Now, it is not about those people over here have migrated and those people till now should be ruling over us. No, this is not meant by this particular point of view, right? That is why you will be finding when these type of theories started emerging at that point of time, are people who were oppressed by the British this operations, completely frustrated with the British occupancy of our country. We came up with the out of India theory, right? This is for self-esteem, guys. Though this is not scholarly accepted, but this is for the self-esteem you will be finding, right? Right. For example, Shri Aurobindo, Lal, you will BB Lal, you will be finding their arguments were Aryans were indigenous to India, Indo-European languages spread out from India. So they are saying that over here our culture was superior and we spread outwards and we gave these things to the outer world, right? But there is no scholarly acceptance over here. It is, you try to understand, that was needed at that point of time because we needed, if these things would not have been created like out of Indian theory, then we were very weak at in our confidence, guys. We were completely suppressed, we were completely exploited, we were completely oppressed by the Britishers. You try to understand, right? So these people understood that it is important to have the confidence in the Indians that they are belonging to a superior civilization. They are not any less than these white people, right, who are subjecting us as their slaves, right? So this theory was more out of the reaction towards British operation over here, right? Cultural continuity between Harappa and Vedic traditions, critique of invasions theory, indigenous interpretation of Vedic geography as well. So it does not, criticism is does not come, it does not support like among comparative linguistic and geneticists, does not have a broad support, right? Then is Iranian theory. Some versions like V. Gordon Chelde and Indo-Iranian studies, they say that Aryans originated in eastern Iran and then they migrated over here. And similarities is Vedic, Sanskrit, Avestan language and Vedic and Iranian deities, right? Then there is Arctic theory. Bal Gangadhar Tilak says that Arctic home in the Vedas is basically mentioned, right? And astronomical references in the Vedas indicated Arctic homeland. Aryans migrated south after climatic changes. This is one thing, but this is also rejected over here. No archaeological or genetic support. Basically, why they say this? Because they find that in Rig Veda it is written that Arya came from that particular region where there have been 6 months of light and 6 months of darkness. So they have interpreted it that these people might be of the north zone. All right, they migrated like southwards like this. But this is again not acceptable. Now, most acceptable theory is in the academia, right? This is steppe theory. Okay. Okay. So I hope you have understood this Aryans, who were they as per linguist, how they have come to the this particular conclusion that they were Proto-Indo-European speakers, where they have come from. Steppe theory, I hope you have understood really clearly. Okay. Now let us go to the sources, and then we will combine both of them as well. And everything which we are deriving over here will be from these sources only, right? So in the map also you try to see this is the steppe region. Okay, Black Sea above, Caspian Sea. Okay, this is the steppe people. Now, though they are migrating over here, you try to understand like this, one branch, and over here you will be finding one branch over here, right? And then they have spread over here as well. Over here as well you will be finding. Okay. Now you come to the Vedic corpus over here, guys. Now try to understand Vedic corpus, primary language, Vedic Sanskrit over here. Now I have given you the link that they might have compiled this literature in order to, now a lot of things are highlighted over here, but most of the things you will be finding out that this is creating a particular, you will be finding, trying to consolidate the information over here, guys, right? And this looks like something sacred at that point of time. It is part of our culture today, which we have to understand, right? But this is not an outsider which has given us, but this is the evolution in human. You can understand that how they are forming the structures of the society, and these structures are based upon, you will be finding these Aryan people, right? Now Vedic period is divided between, first of all, this Shruti tradition. Shruti tradition means this has been passed on throughout. Over here you will be finding it was a passed on information that one group will be, and now I will be telling you as well that how they used to recite this particular Vedas, Rig Vedic mantras, chants over here, how they used to do it. So they used to do it in a very peculiar, very strange manner, guys, which can pass on the information as it is without distortion. And you try to understand that everything has been distorted except this Vedic literature. Rig Vedas are still protected over here. We still know how they were pronunciating the particular mantras at that point of time, right? That means there was something uniqueness in Vedic literature which have protected them throughout these fall and coming up of these dynasties and falling up of these empires, right? That I'll be telling you. So this is Vedas over here, which we have to understand. Veda Samhita, Brahmanas, Aryankas, and Upanishads we have to understand first of all in the Shruti tradition. This tradition is later on have been compiled and give us detail about later Vedic life. These compilation also happened later, right? In Vedas also only Rig Veda is said to be the earliest compilation over here, right? That I will be telling you in more detail. Okay. So Vedas, first of all, Veda Samhita we are understanding. In this, first of all, the most important Rig Veda. Then you will be finding later compilation Samaved, Yajurved, and Atharvaved. This we have to understand, guys, and I'll be telling you in a good way over here so that you should have no doubt with respect to what is needed. Okay, Samved, Yajurved, and Atharvaved you are going to find over here. Okay, now it is the earliest surviving source, okay, and which gives us information about the early Vedic period. Early Vedic period or Rig Vedic period we are also calling it. The primary source is Rig Veda. Now the timeline of this has been a bit dubious. Primarily in scholarly tradition we go ahead with 1500 BC around. This particular book might have compiled by certain rishis, right? But if you will go in the astronomical dating, which you might be hearing in the news and YouTube as well, they say that this particular thing is about 15,000 BC old. That might be possible. One thing is sure, that this might have been in the culture to recite the chants. Okay, this might have been in the culture, but this got compiled in the form of literary source during 1500. It is one thing. Okay, so you try to understand this particular part. The date of the Rig Veda is one of the most debated issues in ancient Indian history. Suggested date range widely from 6000 BC to 1000. But historians rely on textual, linguistic, archaeological, and comparative evidence to narrow down the range. This is what your language should be in the optional writing as well. That we don't rely only on one thing, but text, linguist, archaeological, and sometimes for RNs we utilize geneticist as well, right? One chronology, the most famous chronology, is Max Muller. Now it is said that Max Muller has not also searched deeply about the Rigvedic age, right? So he just, for the sake of mentioning it, just mentioned, and later on people just relied upon it, right? But this is also not the case later on. I will be telling you how this happened. So most textbook timelines earlier followed the estimate of German Indologist, that is Max Muller. He used a backward calculation method, like Vedanga Sutra texts contemporaries with early Buddhism to 600 BC. Brahmana text must be older to 800. Samhitas older than Brahmana. Samhita means Veda Samhita. This Rig Veda and all these things, 100 to 800. Vedic hymns evolved over 200 years, started around 1200. So he went about backward calculation method over here. And it is very, very rough guess, guys. That's why this particular thing is very, very much debatable, and our historians who are understanding it clearly, they have devoted their 10-15 years of life in understanding this particular part, are dating it back 12,000, 13,000 BC. But why we can't take this? Because right now we will be following our academic books only, which are recommended by the universities and which are recommended for the UPSC as well. So primary reference R.S. Sharma, Upinder Singh, we are taking over here, right? Thus he suggested 1200 BC around. Max Muller himself said that these were hypothetical provision and not fixed dates, hypothetical. Several scholars later on objected to his fixed 200 years block. Like for example, H. Wilson you will be finding, Bohler you will be finding, Jacobi you will be finding. Okay, so over here, their Rig Veda might be 1200 older than 1200 BC. They take it 2500 to 2000 BC, right? Again, you will be finding this is not definitive. One astronomical dating attempts you will be finding of Ludwig. Shubhash is very famous name over here. 4000 BC. Someone is saying 11th century BC, right? Someone is saying 3rd millennium BC over here. So astronomical references are interpretive. Symbolic versus is not equal to precise observation, and results vary widely over here as well. That's why again this is debatable, but you should know the debate over here. Archaeological constraint you have to understand. For example, if you take 6000 to 5000 BC, then you will be finding complete northwestern findings. Archaeology we are getting is of stone tools. Somewhere metals also we are getting. Chariots and all these were not shown over here, guys. Try to understand. Metal use, chariots, pastoral agrarian life was not over here. That was largely Stone Age, which we have understood in the form of Neolithic, Mesolithic, somewhere later on Chalcolithic will be coming. So dates earlier than late 3rd millennium BC are generally unacceptable because of the archaeological constraints you try to understand. Some dates, astronomical dating is given, but not widely acceptable again. Okay. One gate Max Muller also gave over here. Okay. Then there is Mitanni Hittite evidence over here. There is one inscription at Turkey, Syria, and they mention gods as Indra, Mitra, Varun, and Ashwins over here. Indo-Aryan type of royal names have been mentioned, right? Horse training manual of Kikuli uses Indian Indo-Aryan terms as well. So this means Indo-Aryan language and gods known outside India by 14th century BC as well you will be finding, like 4th century BC, like 1380 BC you will be finding, right? So they are saying that at this particular point of time also there is connection of Rig Veda, but it does not directly date Rig Veda, only shows Indo-Aryan cultural presence by then. Think that it might happen that in the Iranian region they are present first and then later on came, but this is highly again debatable because of this, right? Then there is Avesta comparison. Rig Veda language and culture closely resemble with the Avesta. The old Avesta part are approximately around 1500 BC. Suggest Rig Veda material likely in same broad area. So this is again dubious because Avesta dating itself is uncertain over here. Okay, so safe, but we can go ahead with 1500 to 1000. This we can go ahead because over here the oldest layers that I will be telling you about. Okay, so this is the conclusion which you can give. The date of the Rig Veda remains debated due to oral transmission, layered composition, and interpretive methods over here. While Max Muller gives this, but most modern scholar continuously plates his composition between 1500 to 1000, rejecting very early dates on archaeological grounds. So why they are rejecting earlier dates? On the archaeological grounds, you try to understand, right? Okay, now we will be understanding this Rig Veda. The timeline, the date issue you have understood. Now you understand that what is the structure of Rig Veda, right? This you have to understand. Now Rig Veda, first of all, you try to understand it is the basically compiled in 10 mandals. There are 10 mandals you will be finding like this. 10 mandals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10th mandal like this you will be finding, right? This is mandals. Now, if I open up one mandal, if I open up any mandal, you will be finding over here will be written as Sukt. Sukt. Right, and then Sukt will be divided into hymns. So every Rig Veda hymn will be quoted like this: 10th mandal, 6th Sukt, 4th mantra, like this: 10, 6, 4 RV. Are you understanding? This is the abbreviation in which you can understand this, right? See this particular slide. Every information is over here. Just focus upon this. Structure: 10 mandals, books. Suktas 1028 hymns. 10,600 mantras over here you will be finding. Okay. So what you have to understand over here, that to compile this Rig Veda, that we will start writing Rig Veda, this might have been a thought amongst the top people of the society. They wanted to protect this. They might be wanting to protect this, the elite people of the society, right? So these things which was basically this particular to compile this Vedic literature which we are transferring from oral only. This particular job has been taken up by some rishis over here, right? That now we will be compiling this. Earlier it was, that's why the mantra, if you will be finding, it has like remembrance pattern as well. That if you will go 2 words ahead, you have to come 3 words backward as well. This is like consolidation. Revision हम कैसे करते हैं? बार बार 4 चीजें जो हमने पढ़ी उसको 4 बार repeat करके. So this thing you will be finding in the hymns of Rig Veda, guys. That's why whenever if you will go 5 words ahead, you have to come 6 backwards. Then 10 ahead, then you have to come 6 backwards. This is the way these used to be recited, right? That's why as it is, now you must not be doubting as well, because you are also in this preparation and you are seeing that if you read a book 10 times, you are able to remember that. But these people, all their lifetime, they have remembered these hymns over here. They have chanted these hymns over here, guys. You try to understand. So they remember word by word the way it has been pronunciated as well. Alright, later on it was compiled by this 227 book over here, the oldest book it is known as. That's why written as family book. This job was given to certain family. Now a lot of family you try to understand: Grit, Samada, Vishwamitra, Vamadev, Atri. Now 3 families I want you to look: Vasisht, Bharadwaj, Atreyi, Vishwamitra and Vasisht you have to remember, because their quotation I will be telling you again and again. Grit, Samada, Vamadev also you can see over here. So these are the family books, guys, right? Core of the Rig Veda, called family books because they are attributed to particular priestly families. The oldest part of Rig Veda is this, most historical valuable and close to early Vedic society, right? इसमें भी जो सबसे oldest बताई जाती है वो है 3rd, 6th and 7th. भारद्वाज, वशिष्ठ and विश्वामित्र को सबसे oldest बताया जाता है, right? ठीक है. And why other books are told to be as older? Because over here mixed hymns, the way the hymns were written is of that period you will be finding when they compared it with other language, other literature over here. 9, 10 dedicated entirely to Soma, 9th. latest layer, philosophical hymns also you will be finding over here. I'll be telling you certain. Now, everything which we will be understanding right now, I am not going in detail of what are the points you should remember. No. But I am telling you political life, religious life, like Indra has been mentioned again and again over here. Like the most important deity over here, Indra, approximately 250 hymns. War, rain, thunder. Agani, 200 hymns. Soma you will be finding. Varuna you will be finding over here, right? This I will be telling you in the religion part over here. Okay? Again, I'll be telling you. Now, right now, which are the important hymns you will be finding? For example, Mandal 3, 62 Sukt, 10 mantra is related to Vishwamitra over here, right? If you will be finding third book is related to Vishwamitra. Now, he has given the important our culture Gayatri month over here you will be finding. Om Bhur Bhavaswa, we all know. So, this is basically in the third. It is a Rigvedic. You have to remember it for prelims. It might be important. Okay, dedicated. Now, it is dedicated to Lord Savitra, not Gayatri. We might think that it is related to Gayatri, but it is for a sun god. Most famous. Then you will be finding most famous as Dasarajan battle. Dasarajan battle is mentioned in the seventh seventh book over here, right? And again, I will be telling you this about in the political aspect. Hirangarabhya Sukta over here, the golden embryo, is the 10th mandal you will be finding. Maybe added later on. Purushukta Haim, I will be telling you in the society that the cosmic being Purusha is basically divided into 4 parts. Brahman, Rajanya, Vaishya, Shudra, like this, right? Okay, so like this I will be telling you. So wherever philosophical terms will be there, you will be finding 10th mandal, 10th mandal, 10th mandal, 10th mandal, marriage hymn, funeral hymns. Later on, a lot of complexities came, right? So this you will be finding over here, and later on I'll be telling you more. Right now you have tried to understood the Rigvedic structure, right? Now everything which I'll be deriving information will be from here only. Okay. Now you come to the next Ved, that is Samaved. Samaved. Very important Ved, guys. You try to understand. This has been compiled later on, right? And this is said that after 500 years later on, this might have been compiled. And over here, you will be finding the rhythmic aspect of the chanting. That people over here introduce music, right? Now it is said that this Samved might be compiled later than Rigved, but this particular singing aspect of chanting a mantra has been very old, and this might be possible as well, right? This has been a acceptable fact over here, right? That means it is compiled later on, where several aspects of music, that how you will be singing a particular Rigvedic hymn is mentioned over here, right? And there is all aspects you will be finding of the classical music, basic aspects you will be finding over here. So Samved is known as the Veda of melodies and chants. It is the foundation of Indian musical tradition and is primarily used for Vedic sacrifices, right? This also shows you that music, dance, all this has been central to humanity in Paleo as well. In Paleolithic time period, 1 lakh BC around, 10,000 BC around, 50,000 BC around, when Mesolithic people was also there. This was their central part, right? Later on in life also you will be finding that life without these aspects will be very bland. So Samved highlights the, you can say, the aesthetic part, the cultural part, the fun part of life. Samved, the musical part of life, right? That life is not like this only, right? Okay, now you will be finding it is largely derived of Rigveda, intended to be sung, not merely recited, associated with Udgatri priest, who chanted hymns during sacrifices. So Udgatri over here is one family priest you will be finding associated with it, chief singer of sacrificial hymns. Now, if you will see the structure, composition, no need to relate it, no need to learn this, but there are verses which are written, 1810 verses. Only about 75 verses are original. The remaining verses are borrowed mainly from the Rigved. Rigvedic chant, Rigvedic hymn you will be finding, and then it will be chant in a certain way. The important thing over here for chanting is you will be finding sthob syllables, like who, how, high are added over here in between this, so that a lay will be set, right, of the while singing. So extra syllables added during singing. Okay? And a lot of singers add extra syllables over here. For example, you will be finding a lot of music are including, like the word will not make any sense, but they will be adding that layer type of thing, right? So musical embellishment, rhythm maintenance you will be finding. So Stob is related to Sam. For prelims, it is important. Saman is a Rigvedic verse transformed into a musical chant. Rigvedic hymn, musical modification, Sama chant you will be finding. So elongation of sound, syllables and patterns you will be seeing, right? The main divisions over here you have to see of Samaveda is Purva Varchika and Uttar Rachika you will be finding. These are known as to be the earlier connection. Contain hymns arranged according to TTs, like this you will be finding. Contain hymns arranged according to sacrificial performance and chanting requirements in Soma, major Vedic rituals as well. Important recensions. Recensions means those people who have understood later on, like Kothuma. Jaminiya is one important recension of over here. Among these, Kothuma is the most widely preserved over here. Okay, so unlike Rigveda, hymns arranged by deity and family, literary and poetic emphasis, and these are recited. Whereas Samved, hymns arranged for singing, musical emphasis, and chanted. The originality of the Samved lies not in words but in its musical arrangement, right? The next Ved is Yajur Ved, guys. Try to understand Yajur Ved comes from the root word Yajus. Yajus means sacrifice. And over here you will be finding Yajur Ved is all about the art of sacrifice, the book of sacrifice, right? Now you try to understand the sacrifice was given to Agni, right? Agni, Yagya, Yagya. Now Yagya was not a normal thing for ancient, or not ancient, but these Vedic people. You try to understand. This is the most important foundational thing of the daily lives of the people. Yagya. Yagya today is, it is not about just doing the ritual at your home and carry forwarding our lineage. This is our culture, right? But Yagya at that point of time was seen as to be very sincerely, like we see Discovery Channel, like we see science, like we read about Einstein theory of relativity. The similar way you will be finding Agni was seen as, Yagya was seen as, the chants, the method of forming the platform for Yagya was all very sincerely followed by the people. The chanting was very sincerely done by the priest and the people as well who are participating over there. So this was seen as the portal of connecting with the human to the spiritual world, guys, to the spiritual world, to the God, right? This was seen as the portal. Now I've told you that the worldview in the earlier lectures as well, the worldview of these people were very different, right? For example, 1,000 years later, people might be funny, people might be laughing at us that what we are believing in. We are believing in money. We are seeing the world in just 3D. Maybe 1,000 years later, people would have this capability of seeing things in 6 dimensions, the 2 dimensions, 3 dimensions, which are not even visible to us right now, right? So they will find our knowledge to be very primitive. That's why don't be ever arrogant about yourself or whatever we are knowing over here, right? So over here you will be finding human and spiritual god Agni was very important, and there comes the Yajurved. The Yajurved is the Ved of sacrificial formula. While the Rig Ved contain hymns, the Samved chants, the Yajurved provides procedures, formulas and instructions for performing yajnas. Right? Yajus means sacrificial prayer, ritual formula, worship through sacrifice. Okay. Now you try to understand over here the priest associated with Adhuvaryu, if you want to remember, and the structure is different. It contains mantras, sacrificial formulas, rituals as well. Now there is two major divisions. This is very important and this is very interesting. So over here it is basically these divisions explanation that why these two divisions are there. This has been explained by the Bhagavad Puran. In Bhagavad Puran later on you will be finding there is one story involved over here, that there is the Guru over here and his Shishya was Yajnavalka. Yajnavalka is a very great scholar of that particular time period, Yajnavalka. So it says that Guru and Yajnavalka, they had some conflict over here with respect to that Yajnavalka was getting too much arrogant after learning the information from the Guru itself. So there was ego clash which was happening. Obviously, Guru will not like whatever he made you learn, and Yajnavalka was being very proud of that, right? Very arrogant about the knowledge he received from the Guru. So Guru one day very angrily told Yajnavalka that you return all the language which, all the knowledge which you have learned from me. I don't want you to be in my class, or I don't want you to be in my ashram. So that day, Yajnavalkya also was very proud over here, were very arrogant over here, and vomited out all the information. Now, this is a hypothetical thing. Vomited out all the mantras, all the hymns which he had learned from the Guru over here, right? And now, when he vomited out this information, now Guru will be asking his shishyas to become titar, right? Now, it is hypothetical thing, guys. They might be wanting to Bhagavad Puran mein story might be telling us something over here, right? So Guru says now the tithers just eat this particular out and consume the knowledge which he has vomited out. This is our knowledge over here. So all of this thing will be taken up by tithar, and from here Tatariya, this particular division will be coming, and this will be known as black because vomit is mix, right? So this is known as over here mix. Hymns are also there and explanation are also mixed over here. Whereas Yagmalka later on worshipped sun god and asked that I want knowledge which has to be superior, right? And you will be finding over here then the sun god will be coming in white horse and will be giving him knowledge over here which will be known as white paksh. That is why Shukla, white Yajurved. Now the story is not needed. Okay? It is just why there is two divisions. Krishna, black Yajurved. Mantras and explanation mixed together. Mantras separated from explanatory material. Less systematic arrangement, better organized in Shukla one. ठीक है? तो जैसे ततरिया, मैत्रियाणी, कथक और ततरिया सबसे important है. Over here कानवा you will be finding शाखाज. शाखाज means recensions. So ऐसे बोला जाता है ततरिया समिता and वजसनीय समिता. वजसनीय समिता. Right? So इसमें major components क्या है? Collection of sacrificial mantras and explanation of rituals as well. For example, the most important is Satapata Brahmana, largest Brahman text associated with Shukla Yajurved, that is white, extremely important historical source, right? This you will be finding. Important Upanishad associated with Yajurved. Abhi later on Upanishads will also come, guys, that Vedas, then you will be finding each Vedas will be connected with certain Upanishads. So over here Isha Upanishad, Brihadranath Upanishad, Tattariya Upanishad, Katha Upanishad will be containing over here. So just read this out. Yajalvalkar teachings, Atma Brahman, Brahman Atma you will be finding. Debate with Gargi is also mentioned in Brihadranath Upanishad. This I will be again connecting when I will be teaching you about Upanishad. Try to understand. Yajurveda will be giving us information about the later Vedic age more. A lot of agriculture products he will be telling us later Vedic age, this Yajurveda will be telling us, right? Over here, important rituals are also described. Important yagyas, Rajasuya, Ashwamedha, Vajpayee, Agni Chayana over here, right? So, for example, like this, great yagnas like Rajasuya, Ashwamedha, Purushamedha over here. Okay? Right. Now, more information of later Vedic age I will be taking out from Yajurveda. Then I will be telling you about how things are explained in Yajurveda. That's why this is one layer which we are doing. Later on, when I'll be explaining you more about the political societal dimensions of later Vedic age, I will be picking up this source again. Okay? Now comes the last Ved over here, and you can say it is earlier used not to be considered as a Veda itself. Right? So there were initially 3 Vedas only, and you will be finding it written in the Chandogya Upanishad. The 3 Vedas, the Rig, the Yajur, and the Sama are together the Hemkara. These 3 words are together the Prastava. Means you will be understanding that over here 3 books were considered as to be. This is the particular hymn I have told you from where scholars have told that there were originally 3 Vedas. Later on, Atharvaveda got the designation of Veda. Primarily why? Because Atharvaveda, these earlier families were not used to treat with respect to equal to them, right? Why? Because Atharvaveda is primarily dealing with the household things. You will be finding themes, common life, common problems you will be finding, domestic life, healing medicine, magic charms, prosperity, wealth. So this they did not consider it initially, but later on it also got this designation of a Veda, guys, right? So Atharvaveda is the 4th light and latest Veda. Unlike Rig, Sam, Yajur, which are primarily associated with sacrificial rituals, Athar reflects the beliefs, practices, fears, hopes, and everyday life of ordinary people. Now we see Athar is just about magic and spells. No, this is one part. Second is of the mind as well, philosophical debate. Third is of, you will be finding like this, domestic life, prosperity, and wealth as well, right? Now, good thing is you will be knowing that Atharva is also known by other names, Atharva Angirasa, Atharvan Angirasa, because of the Angiras you will be finding priest. Okay? Associated priest, Brahman priest you will be finding, right? And composition, no need to remember this, but there are composition of in this form you will be finding. Okay, the most important part, now you see this important recension shakhas. One is Shaunak Shakha, one is Papalada Shakha, right? So these are the shakhas of Atharva Ved you will be finding over here. Okay, so this is important. So unlike other Vedas, it deals with practical concerns of life you will be finding, right? So Vedas category we are over, guys. Now I have given you the initial structure of it. What is written in them, what exactly you will be finding in them with respect to society, geography. I will be showing you exact this particular hymns as well, guys, that where we are getting this information from. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now let us move ahead and understand a bit about Brahmanas, Aryankas and Upanishads. Later on, I'll be telling you more about these particular thing as well, right? So let us understand one by one about these three. Now you understand about Brahmanas, guys. They go to understand about Brahmanas. First of all, have this thing in mind. Brahmanas, Aryankas, Upanishads. These three things you try to understand. Core foundational books of our culture, right? Brahmanas, Aryankas, and Upanishads. If you will be finding Brahmanas, they will be primarily focusing upon the Karam Kand aspect. Karam Kand means rituals. Karam means rituals over here, right? Karam Khand. Upanishads will be focusing primarily on the philosophical, Gyan Khand, philosophical aspect, Gyan Khand or Kand. This is known as the philosophical aspect. Core philosophy. More on rituals, more on philosophy. Aryankas will be the mix of it. Mix of both rituals and philosophical aspect, right? Now you try to understand this just. So Brahmanas are prose text over here attached to each Veda that explain meaning, procedure and significance of Vedic sacrifice. Yagnas का और ज़्यादा, तो सबसे ज़्यादा Yajurved में which you will be finding, there will be explanation over here as well. That's why Yajurved have specific Brahmanas. ठीक है. Now this R संहिता सबसे ऊपर होगा. Brahmana ये second layer पे आते हैं, ritual explanation. Aryanka symbolic interpretation. Upanishad philosophical part, right? Brahmana say how and why to perform the ritual. Samhita says what to recite in the ritual. कब बनाए गए हैं? 1000 BC after you will be finding out. So these are also will be giving us information about the later Vedic age primarily. This was a period when agriculture expanded, kingdoms emerged, Brahmins gained greater ritual authority, sacrifices became more elaborated and expensive as well. Now these Brahmanas first of all are not the people like Brahman, Kshatriya, not like this, not like the Varna, not like the caste. It is like the textbook over here. This is the prose text written over here, right? Right now, these are the ritual manuals. You will be finding explanation of mantras as well, mythological stories you will be finding over here. And some important Brahmanas like for Rigveda, Atriya Brahmana, Kaustiki Brahmana. For Samved, this Panchavamsha Brahmana, Jaminiya Brahmana. For Yajurved, Satapata Brahmana, Tatariya Brahmana. Are you understanding? Like for particular everything, like for a particular Veda, for a particular sacrifice, how to do that particular sacrifice is mentioned in Brahmanas. For Atharved, Gopath Brahmana over here, right? So just mention this out, highlight this out, and I will be showing one chart as well. So Rigved, Yajurved, Samved, Atharved. ये हो गई शाखा, ठीक है? शुक्ल, कृष्ण, कौथुमा, रणमा, जमिनिया, शौनक, पैपलता, शाखा. अब इसमें आ गए ब्राह्मणा. अब ये आखिरी में देखेंगे, जैसे ब्राह्मणा हो गए इनके, ये शतपथ ब्राह्मणा हो गया, ठीक है? अब ये थोड़ा बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, बट यू विल बी कीपिंग इट फिक्स लाइक दिस, ठीक है? Right, so these were like Brahmanas you will be finding. Then you will be finding Aryankas. Aryankas are the third layer of the Vedic literature, situated between the Brahmanas and the Upanishads. The word Aryanka comes from the Sanskrit word Aranya. Aranya means forest. So these are created by the people who lived in forest, sannyasins maybe. Okay? So these are known as forest texts. These were intended for study by people who had retired from active household and gone to the forest for contemplation. How you will be living your life over there, right? So these people have highlighted over here. So this ritual, Brahmana, philosophy, Upanishad, symbolism, Aryanka you will be finding, right? When were they composed? Near around later Vedic age. Again, symbolic interpretation of sacrifice. They are giving meaning to a particular sacrifice, that why you are doing sacrifice. So philosophy को connect कर रहा है, right? Shift from external ritual to inner knowledge, meditation and contemplation, foundation for Upanishadic philosophy as well. So every Ved is having certain particular Aryan Right now, don't remember these Aryan but you remember Tatriya is a word for prelims associated with Yajur. That can help, guys, right? So this way you will be understanding it. More about this, I will be again telling you in the lecture as well. In the second lecture, when we will be dealing the political life, the social life, and every other aspect of Rig Veda and later Vedic, over there I'll be dealing with it, right? Now the last one over here in Vedic Samhita is Upanishad. Upanishad means the philosophical culmination of Vedic literature, often as called as Vedant as well, end of Vedas, right? Now Upanishads, Upnishad, near down to sit. Basically, it is sitting down near the teacher to receive secret spiritual knowledge. And it is still like if you want to understand Vedic literature, you still need a strong connection of this Guru Shishya Parampara which has been there, right? So still there, if you want to understand this Upanishadic tradition, it comes from certain teachers itself of the Vedic literature you will be finding, right? They represent the highest stage of Vedic thought, shifting emphasis from rituals to knowledge. Again, later Vedic age, you will be finding their composition. Total number 108. Principal Upanishads are 13 in number. Okay, and most authoritative according to Adi Shankaracharya is 10 major Upanishads you will be finding. What are the main souls? They will be talking about Atman, like who am I, who survives, what survives after death, what is true self. Brahman, the ultimate universal reality. Brahm is eternal, infinite, and unchanging. You will be finding. Then identity of Atma and Brahman. There are debates, and people are debating over here in this story format. You will be finding, right? Karam, good actions, bad actions are being talked about over here. That actions produce consequences, right? Your actions are not independent but dependent of certain consequences. Samsara, moksha. This I will be explaining again when we will move forward in the class. Just see the structure right now. So 6 Mahakavyas you will be finding like Chandogya Upanishad, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, Atriya Upanishad are containing this Tattvam Asi, very famous. It is present in Chandogya. Thou art that. I'll be explaining you later on. Aham Brahmasmi is written in Brihadaranyaka. I am Brahman. I am Atma Brahma, the self is Brahman, means I am what I am the universe. I have all the universe is me in me, and where I am finding God, the God is in me. Right? This is what they mean by all these statements. And later, after or in the end, when I'll be explaining a lot of things, I will be explaining you this philosophical aspect as well, but not right now. Right? Don't worry about it. Okay, so like this, you will be finding certain principal Upanishads of Rig Veda, Samaved, Yajurveda, and Atharveda. Just understand it. Don't try to rectify right now. That we will be seeing again in the live class, or you will be finding in the end. I will be telling you this. This is very important. At the right point of time, I will be telling you about Yajnavalka, Gargi, very important, related to Upanishadic tradition, not related to Rig Veda. Udalaka Aruni, very important, Shvetaketu, teacher of Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi, and Nachiketa. So these are certain stories over here in which, in that way, Upanishadic knowledge is being given, guys. Right? Okay, now, with respect to this, I will be explaining you in the next class because it needs certain understanding. First of all, when I'll be explaining you more about that, what we have got from Yajur, what we have got from Atharva, and like this, I will be making your certain conceptual concept with respect to the Vedas. Then I will be telling you about the Upanishads as well in the lecture, but in this particular topic only, but in the next lecture, right? In today's class, our focus was on this particular aspect, the Shruti aspect. In the next class, I will be focusing upon the Smriti, but not exactly whole Puranas I will be focusing upon because this is quite important, guys. Okay? This will be my focus. Okay, guys? So now you try to take this particular part over here and try to write down crux information, right? And in the weekend session, we will be revising what is important from prelims as well. Okay. Alright guys, this is enough for this lecture. In the next class, I will be discussing all other aspects of Vedic literature, of all other aspects of Vedic age, and then we'll be ending the particular topic of Vedic age, right? Thank you so much. I'll be meeting you in the next class, guys. Hello everyone, how are you all? कैसे हैं आप सभी लोग? I hope you all must be having a great time. And now let us move forward in our history optional. This is going to be lecture number 8, and we are going to complete Vedic age in this particular lecture, guys, right? Now, first of all, in the last class, I have told you about few things like of Aryan's debate, who over these and where they have come from, and in this our focus was primarily upon steppies. Second thing which we discussed over here was the literature, source part basically, source part, right? And in source part, I have told you about the most important thing over here was literature. And in literature, I have told you that this over here, which we are going to understand, is the Vedic literature, right? So here we were. And in the last class, I have told you about the Vedas, the Brahmanas, the Aryankas, and the Upanishads, right? In today's class, I am letting you focused upon Purans and few more things. Over here, all other things over here are written, but not very in-depth required. But something are required, like Purans. Like today, I will be going to tell you about the Brahm Shastras and Brahm Sutras. Very important because these were giving the details, right? Important details which I am going to tell you, right? And Puranas that I am going to tell you, and Smritis. So these all I am going to tell you over here, right? And then we will be proceeding ahead and we will be seeing the other aspect that what we have got from these sources about the early Vedic and later Vedic time period. So first of all, you try to see the Purans, guys, Puranas, very important source of our history. Right, Purans were basically you will be finding written first of all when it is a recent book as compared to other books. So this might have got written from 3rd 4th century AD. In the ADs, first of all, you try to understand it was written down by several writers. Historically, one writer is associated with them, that is Ved Vyas. But after getting the compilation of all these Purans, it is an established fact that it has been created by a lot of writers over here, right? So what are Purans? These Purans means old or ancient. The Purans are attributed to the sage Vyas, but in reality they evolved over many centuries and were composed by multiple authors. How many Mahapurans or Purans we have? 18 Mahapurans, and then there are numerous Uppurans as well we are having. For example, Vishnu Narad Bhagavat Puran, and I have quoted one of the story from Bhagavat Puran in your Samved story or in your Tatariya particular sect of that particular Ved, if you remember, right? So like this, you will be finding a lot of Purans. People today are familiar with the stories of Purans more, not of Vedas. Okay, Vedas, ancient knowledge is not very, you can say, amongst the people. People know them. No, but Puran stories, people know them. Puran stories are over here highlighted by the particular these commentators as well, right? तो आप you will see that kathas चलती हैं यहाँ पर विष्णु पुराण के ऊपर शिव पुराण के ऊपर स्कंद पुराण के ऊपर there will be 7-day long parts 8-day long part like this you will be finding, right? So these Purans are really very famous amongst the people are like people know them the stories inside them but not inside the Vedas. They are not familiar with that particular aspect. Now, composition of the Puran has happened during 4th 5th century AD, and it is said that Bhagavad Puran is very latest 10th century AD. Skand Puran is also very latest 14th century AD. Right now, Purans are traditionally said to contain 5 topics. What are the topics? These are containing only legendary stories of Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. No, right? It is basically containing philosophical dimension as well. That how this universe might have created Sarg, Pratisarga, recreation after destruction, Manavantra, periods ruled by Manus, Vamsha, genealogies of gods and sages, and this Vamsha Nuchitra Charita, royal dynasty and king list. This particular Vanshavali, which we are getting in Purans, this is very important for our historical understanding of the earlier dynasties. So, for example, more though these are created in 4th 5th century AD, but they are highlighting the pre-modern kings as well. For example, Haryanka dynasty, they are giving us the lineage of that as well. So this is quite important historically as well. These some topics are important philosophical understanding of our culture, right? That how they were diving into the deep concepts of a human being. They were going inside, right? Other subjects in, like discussed in the Purans are religion, pilgrimage, temple worship, ethics, cosmology, geography, myths, and legends as well over here, right? Now, the time concept you must have understood in like you must have heard this in our culture, the Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kali Yug. Now, you will be finding this all concepts have been like described in the Purans only, right? not required this time concept over here, but time concept is highly elaborate over here, cyclic creation and destruction. Okay, and no other culture will give you such detailed concept of time, right? Second, you will be finding over here the historical importance of Purans, like it gives us genealogical information. Yes, like Purans, like you try to understand, the earlier genealogies are largely mythical, but later sections contain historical material, right? Over here, if you will be finding. Like the Purans mention the solar dynasty, which people are coming from the kings, and the Chandra lunar dynasty people over here, right? And historically, they have given the list of historical kingdoms like Haryankas, Shungas, Shaishungas, Kanvas, Nandas, Mauryas, right? Like this, you will be finding. Right. So now, like it is giving us the genealogical information over here. Now, there are certain sources for ancient political history as well. You will be finding like dynastic political chronology and the historical geography as well. It has given us. Like, for example, the mountains, rivers, sacred places, region, and kingdoms. But nowhere Purans will be telling us now. One of the prelims question will be like this that this you will be finding in the Rig Veda, the Nadi Sukta has given you the explanation of how species are getting differentiated. This is the new understanding, guys. This is the modern science which is discussing. Not in our Puranic tradition or Vedic tradition, you will be finding explanation like this, right? That they will be telling you that how humans have evolved from this stage to this state. That was not the case of discussion. Okay? So, like this, if they will be forming any statement, obviously it will be wrong. Okay? So, over here, one thing. Now, genealogical information, ancient political history, it is giving us the idea of how geography has been there, right? Religious importance also it is happening because because as I have told you, Purans are easier to understand, right? In your family, people will be connected or people will be knowing the stories from Vishnu Puran, Shiv Puran by heart as well, right? So they have played a major role in the development of Hinduism in the 3rd, 4th century. You try to understand at that point of time, these people were declining. Buddhism was declining, right? And at that point of time, Hinduism was rising because of the dynasties you will be finding of Gupta. Later on, you will be finding the Chalukyans, the Pallavas, right? So they promoted bhakti, temple worship, idol worship over here, pilgrimage, take a religious vows, and you will be finding after this parallelly there will be the construction of temples as well. Elaborate temple making will be starting parallelly, okay, along with these as this literature will be going on, right? Now there is cultural and social significance as well of the Purans. Okay, it has been the vehicle of Brahmanical values, instrument of spreading Hindu religious tradition as well as harmony in the society, because they are talking about certain ethical principles as well. Right, the stories will be involving the right and wrong. Right, so always you will be finding these also helped us in the ethical evaluation of our conduct, right? Now the critical evaluation, if you will do, the merit is preserved dynastic tradition, important source for Gupta and pre-Gupta history, reflect social and religious change as well, right? But the limitations are there are a lot of myths and legends, you can say, which are involved, okay, which we cannot accept in the history discipline as it is. There are certain exaggerated cosmology as well, sectarian bias you will be finding. So it is difficult to separate fact from legend as well. So the Puranas, good conclusion is already over here. The Puranas are not merely religious text, but they are encyclopedic work containing mythology, genealogy, cosmology, geography, philosophy, and history. As it is, you don't have to find out the conclusion, guys. As it is, remember this conclusion for your examination, right? So though mixed with legend and theological material, they remain indispensable source for our understanding of ancient Indian political tradition, religious development, and the evolution of Hindu culture, right? Now I have discussed Purans because they have asked it one time, right? Next, the most important thing is I am going to tell you about the Dharam Sutras and Dharam Shastras, which you must have heard numerous times. Now you try to understand this all tradition comes from one of the ang of the Vedang. Now in Smriti literature, I have told you there is one particular ang over here. Let me show you this. यहाँ पर you are saying Vedang. Vedang means there are important schools of Vedas, right? And इसी से your education has emerged. Education of certain disciplines have emerged, right? In this you will be finding several schools. Out of that school, one school is Kalp Sutra, guys. सबसे पहले ये समझो. Out of these schools over here, like phonetics, Chand, you will be finding astronomy. One school is Sutra, Kalp Sutra over here. So Kalp Sutra are branch of Vedangas that explain how Vedic rituals, ceremonies, and social duties should be performed. How Vedic rituals, ceremonies, social duties should be performed. This is containing in Kalp Sutra. So I have told you that there are six Vedang: Shiksha, Chand, Vyakaran, Nirukta, Jyotisha, and one is Kalpa. Kalpa is rituals. That if Pandit ji have to create a Havan Kund or a Havan particular thing, what samagri is needed. Like if you are from a Hindu family, then if you have done Havan, then you are meant to do a certain thing at a certain point of time in a certain type of space, right? And that is basically told by your priest, right? So where they are getting this information from? This information is very old, that has been there in Kalp and taught to the students under Kalpa discipline, right? आज की डेट में we have engineering discipline, law discipline, other disciplines. Like this, you will be finding the education discipline at that point of time were these. So the kalpa means ritual procedure or proper method, while sutra means aphorism, short rule. So aphorism, you try to understand, this has been one of the prelim statement as well. Okay, and I always tell you that how to convert your optional knowledge, and optional to karna hi karna hai, but how to convert this in prelims as well, so that you should have an upper edge. Generally, what I've seen that history optional people are not at all competitive in prelims. That's why they failed sometime to answer easy question of the prelims itself. Why? Because they have read a lot where they were not able to focus upon the minute things, right? Try to understand. ठीक है, तो सूत्रा is aphorism. Aphorism means there will be short lines written like this. ठीक है, I will be showing you certain Sanskrit slok like this they have written. There will be no rhyming in that shlok, there will be nothing, but it will be a type of rule which will be written, right? So kalpa, ritual, procedures, sutras are written. Manuals laying down the procedure for ritual, ceremonies, duties prescribed in the Vedas. So Vedas has Vedangas, 6 auxiliary disciplines, and one is Kalpa, and Kalpa से आता है आपका Kalpa Sutras. ठीक है, now you go into the Kalpa Sutras, then we are going to देखो, if you would have been just a history student from GS perspective, I have directly told you Dharam Sutras and Dharam Shastras. Then we don't have to find the origin of that. But you are a history optional student, you should exactly know where these Dharam Sutras and Shastras are coming from. And next prelim questions will be on Sutras and Shastras only, let me tell you. Kalpa Sutras are traditionally divided into 4 categories. That is Shrota Sutras, Griha Sutras and Dharam Sutras, right? राइट, यहाँ पर एक मिसिंग है, और ये मिसिंग शायद यहाँ नहीं लिख रखा, तो हम यहाँ लिख लेते हैं. वन इज श्रौता शास्त्र, गृह सूत्रा, थर्ड इज सुलभा सूत्रा, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, सुलभा सूत्रास, तो इसको ऐड कर लो, ये थर्ड हो गया आपका. एंड धर्म सूत्रास. श्रौता सूत्रास आर लार्ज पब्लिक वैदिक सैक्रिफाइसेस, रिचुअल बेस्ड डायरेक्टली ऑन श्रुति वेदास. ठीक है, रिक्वायर 3 sacred fires performed by priests, complex and very expensive, and largely Shrota Shastra Sutras में आते हैं आपके अश्वमेध, राजसूया and वाजपेयी. So these are primarily for large public sacrifices, Vedic sacrifices, right? इसमें ये आपका आ जाता है, ध्यान रखो इसको, very important, right? Right. अब गृह means home, domestic rituals, household ceremonies. So require only 1 sacred fire performed by householders, right? So this you will be finding, this is like related to home. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल उपनयन, विवाह, अंत्येष्टि, ठीक है, अन्नप्रशन्ना, ठीक है, ऑल दीज सेरेमनीज विच हैपेंस. एंड इफ देयर इज अ न्यूबॉर्न बेबी इन योर हाउस होल्ड, इन एनीवन इन योर रिलेटिव्स, लाइक रिसेंटली माय सिस्टर. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पर डिफरेंट संस्कार है. अब ये जो पार्ट है ना, ये पार्ट इसका नहीं है, थोड़ा सा इसे करेक्ट कर लो. ठीक है, ये पार्ट इसका नहीं है, दिस इज द पार्ट ऑफ धर्म सूत्रास. ठीक है, ये धर्म सूत्रास का पार्ट है, ठीक है, जो लिखा है. अब धर्म सूत्रास को मैंने इन डिटेल में पढ़ाना है आपको, इसीलिए यहां तक मैं लेकर आ रहा हूं. कल्प सूत्रा में यू विल बी फाइंडिंग श्रौत सूत्रास, गृह सूत्रास, धर्म सूत्रास, एंड ओवर हियर इट इज सुलभ सूत्रा, सुलभ सूत्रा. ठीक है, धर्म सूत्रा की डिटेल आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग इन डिटेल, ये वाला छोड़ दो अभी, धर्म सूत्रा के पॉइंट. Sulba Sutras is geometry of sacrificial altars. Means when you will be putting the yajna, how you will be making the yajna. Tortoise shape, right? There are different shape like eagle shape, like this you will be finding eagle shape as well. ठीक है, मैं बना ढंग से नहीं पा रहा हूँ, बट आई विल शो यू इफ आई हैव द इमेज, राइट। तो द वर्ड सुलभा ओवर हियर मीन्स अ मेजरिंग कॉर्ड, ठीक है। सो अर्लियर हाउ द डायमेंशन विल बी क्रिएटेड was basically based upon the chord length. They will be making this chord like this, then doing it half, then यहाँ से line खींचेंगे, and you will be finding that with the help of this particular studies, exact studies should happen with respect to the creation of these altars. It is used to say that they used to mean that if this particular procedure is not right, if you have not put your efforts in creation of this particular the geometry of this yagya, your yagya will backfire you, right? That will not only be unsuccessful, but also it will be evil for you, right? So this was an understanding, and this much, with this much sincerity and importance it was taken, guys, right? So construction of fire altars, measurement techniques, geometrical calculation, and it is said the origin of mathematics lies in these ritual activities. Now you try to understand, for something to get form like mathematics is a very strong discipline, guys. To understand universe you require mathematics. In for creating anything you require mathematics, okay? Mathematics is foundation for anything, is coming out of a religious perspective. You try to understand, religion is giving boost to this. And religion, I am not saying present day context of religion, as I've told you, as I've throughout telling you, religion means where people are believing in something, people are passionate about doing something, people are not passionate about just eating. You try to understand, eating alone will not be able to invent things, but when people are participating in something big which they can understand, right now for you a yajna might not be anything, because in your worldview science is everything, right? So rather wasting 6 hours chanting for a mantra, you will rather spend it understanding AI, right? Because you can think that AI can make the lives of people easier. Again, I'm saying there is nothing wrong in that as well, but earlier people mindset was completely different, which led to these things, guys, right? So over here we have a Bodhayan, Sulba Satra, and Upstambh Sulba Satra, Sulba Sutras, right? Bodhayan and Upstambh, these are the rishis you will be finding whose disciplines, who have like given books, commentaries on this particular tradition, right? ठीक है, तो ये है सुलभा शास्त्रास. अब सूत्रास, अब now you have Dharam Sutras over here. ठीक है, now you will be understanding Dharam Sutras. So Dharam Sutras are the earliest surviving texts dealing with dharma, social, religious, and legal duties. Social as well, religious as well, and legal dimension as well. They were composed between 600 to 300 BC and are part of Kalpa Sutra literature of Vedangas. ये आपका introduction होगा whenever they will be asking you about Dharam Sutras. They are written in sutra style, short, condensed aphorism that were meant to be memorized. Aphorism is a word for these lines, short lines, right? Now in this Dharam Sutras, we have four tradition. The four tradition are Gautama tradition, generally considered the oldest Dharam Sutra associated with the Samveda tradition, guys, right? Discusses Varna duties kya hai, ashram system, like 4 life systems. Yeah, you have 4 ashrams, Brahmacharya, Grihast, then sannyasi wala aega, and Vanaprasth, and then sannyasi system, 4, right? Marriage, different type of marriage are highlighted, inheritance, punishment, duties of kings as well. Then comes the Upstambh Dharam Sutra, associated with the Krishna Yajurved. Yajurved से related है, वो भी कृष्ण, black Yajurved आपको मैंने जो बताया था. Titar you will be finding, right? Taittiriya Yajurved. Notable for recognizing the importance of local custom, shows greater flexibility than many later texts. Then Bodhayan Dharam Sutra, also connected with the Krishna Yajurved, discuss ritual duties, social conduct, penances, and mixed caste system. Then Vasishtha Dharam Sutra, one of the later Dharam Sutras, give detailed treatment of purification, penances, and duties of different varnas. So what they are primarily focusing upon is social duties. Your duty towards, as a Brahman, your duty towards the society. As a Shudra, your duty towards the society. Varna based duties, Dharam. Personal Dharam also it discuss. What's your, as a husband, as a son, as a father, what's your duty? As a king, what are your duties? What is your dharam? So different things are have been discussed over here with the religious, social, and other dimensions as well, right? Whereas smriti is a broader term, right? The word smriti means that which is remembered. Unlike the Vedas, smritis are considered human composition based on remembered tradition and interpretation. So Vedas से जो derive हुआ वो स्मृति आप देखने को मिलेगा आप. For example, Veda Ang are nothing but derived from Vedas. They were composed 200 BC to 900 CE and form the most important part of the Dharam Shastra tradition. Right? So in Smritis mein, certain Smritis are like you will be finding most famous like Manu Smriti, like Yajnavalka Smriti, like Narad Smriti and Brihaspati Smriti. Now what you will be finding over here that authorship anonymous has written Dharam Sutras, Smritis individual authors. Rules of conduct, duties, rituals, explain law, ethics, social order, and jurisprudence and Smritis, right? So they will be talking about certain aspect in greater detail. For example, Manusmriti, Manava Dharma Shastra, most famous Smriti you will be finding over here. Varna system, ashram system, woman status, inheritance, they talk about all these things. Then Yagnavalka, more systematic than Manusmriti, give extensive treatment of law and judicial procedures. Very influential in medieval India. Narad Smriti, mainly concerned with law and legal procedures, often called as juridical Smriti. Brihaspati Smriti focus on civil and legal matters, important source of ancient Indian jurisprudence. Right. So Dharam Sutras' importance is they provide the earliest information on social structure, law, custom, and duties, and they were the foundation of later Dharam Shastra literature. So Dharam Sutras are coming first hand. Like Dharam Shastra is the name which is containing a lot of things. Dharam Shastra, right? Right. So now you understand Dharam Shastra. Dharam Shastra, according to Dharam Shastra tradition, Dharam is derived from three principal sources. One is Shruti, one is Smriti, and one is Sishtachar or like code of practices which we practice, right? So first of all, understand the basic difference. Dharam Sutras are earlier compilation, as you have known, based upon Vedas, different schools have emerged. Now these are aphoristic in style, like you will be finding prose style, right? Whereas Dharam Shastras are later compilation and are very vast. These are short, these are vast and containing the Smritis particular. तो ये जो Smritis है इन्हीं को धर्म शास्त्रास में we add it, right? Dharam Shastras related to law and jurisprudence you will be finding. These are written in verse, musical type of verse means where rhyming also happens, right? You can like certain music element is also present in the lines of these words. It is poetic in nature, right? So like this verse format it is written, whereas prose format these Dharam Shastras are written, right? So now hierarchy of sources like Shruti they are taking. Smriti are the Dharam Shastra text as it is written. So Dharam Shastra may always think about the Smritis, right? Dharma and social identity. Dharam Shastra does not prescribe one universal dharam. A personal duty dharam depend upon gender, age, marital status, varna and ashram, right? Context specific rather than uniform. Then Dharam Shastra recognize four varnas like this you will be finding. And the first three varnas are called Tvija, twice born. मतलब क्या होता है that these people are considered for like sacred ceremony over here, right? Sacred thread ceremony, twice born you will be finding. ठीक है, once the moment they are born, and it is said that once they are getting this Upanayan ceremony, they are born again, right? So formal Vedic education. The second birth symbolizes entry into spiritual and education life, right? So this is twice born. And the first three Varnas are called twice born, and the last Shudra were not considered into this. Then they are talking about ashram system. Dharam Shastra talks about this ashram system. Brahmacharya, Grihast, Vanprasth, Sannyasi. But this is coming out of Dharam Sutras as well. Because Dharam Sutras was containing Gautam, Dharam Sutras are also containing this particular thing. So obviously it will be taken down in the Dharam Shastras as well. Like, so this you will be finding. Just read it out, right? Dharam Shastras as a legal text, it is very important. Apart from religion and morality, personal law, marriage, family relation, adoption, civil law, property, inheritance, debt contracts, criminal law, it is being used. So, however, these texts were not law codes in modern sense, but they were normative, prescriptive, and idealistic. Okay. So, it was basically giving us a social structure, legal institution, and political thought as well over here. Okay. So, although Dharam Shastras do not directly describe society, historians use them to reconstruct this. Different Dharam Shastras texts often disagree with one another. These contradictions may indicate regional customs, different scholarly opinions, and changing social norms, right? Now you will be finding one conclusion related to Dharam Shastras. Just pause the video and read this conclusion out as well, guys. I hope you have understood the basic difference between Dharam Sutras and Dharam Shastras. Dharam Sutras are early compilation which were written in the most important thing which you have to find in prose format. Alright, and the scholars which give the dimensions, different shakhas to it was Gautam, Abstam, and few more names which I have told you. They are dealing with the same subjects like law, custom, society, social issues, right? Legal issues, inheritance, right? But Dharam Shastras are coming up later on, and primarily it is involving the Smritis which are related to this Narad Smriti, this Manu Smriti, this Yagnavalka Smriti. These are containing these all uh, procedural manuals over here related to uh, marriages, inheritance, law, and other thing as well over here you will be finding, right? Written in what style? Verse style, right? Okay, so this important thing, literature part, I have explained you, which are important over here. Rest Smriti, right? Shad Darshan is a different philosophy which we have, like is a different topic which we have to deal in greater detail, right? Shad Darshan, ठीक है, वो अलग से हम deal करेंगे, ठीक है. These are important literature sources which you had to know. Now you try to understand. We are going to understand from here. We are making out first of all the geographical understanding, geography of the Rigvedic people, geographical aspect of the Rigvedic people of the later Vedic people. Okay, how do we know that Rigvedic people were living where? So in Rigveda, one of the words is said to be Nadi Sukta. Nadi Sukta. Right? This verse you will be finding that making us familiar about different rivers, right? That we have to see. I will be showing you that we study for the GS perspective as well, and that has come in 2026, 2025 prelims. Both the prelims you will be finding this Nadi Sukta is coming again and again, right? That we will be discussing as well. Okay. So from here we get to know about that maybe those people who have written this book have talked about the times, like their geographical regions in their book, right? Like the rivers which is flowing nearby, for example, where you will be from, and if you are writing the autobiography of yours, you will be writing about your space where you are existing, right? The rivers, if there is any mountain nearby, if there is any famous place nearby, you will be writing about that, right? Similar thing happens over here, the geographical horizon of Rigvedic people. Focus where I am letting you focus. First of all, what सारी information है, combined information है. Nadi Sukta hymn 10.75 you will be finding. The famous hymn to rivers mentions several rivers over here. अब हमें लगता है ये सिर्फ इंडस सिस्टम के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. No, they are talking about many rivers over here, guys. First of all, the primary rivers they were talking about was Indus. इंडस सिस्टम को मेंशन किया इन्होंने, लाइक सिंधु, वितास्ता, अस्कनी, पारुशिनी, विपासा, शुतुत्री. And I ask you to remember these particular aspect in the prelims classes. In prelims classes, I will be making you remember this as well. But you right now, if following, just try to understand the certain things. For example, for Ravi, you remember Parushini by heart. Sindhu, you already know, right? Parushini, you remember. Now, for S, there should be S. So Shutudri is for Satluj. There is no confusion in remembering this as well, right? Bipasha is for Bias. B. Bipasha Basu. Always remember like this. This way you will not be able to confuse in the examination, because this type of information required for the examination. And only you have to eliminate one or two things, right? Askini is Chenab. Vitasta is Jhelum. You can remember this. Askini, Chenab. But Bipasha and Shutudri, you exactly know Bias and Satluj over here, right? Okay, see this particular part. This is the type of like Saraswati is a lost river which is suggested over here, which is written as well. ठीक है, तो यहाँ अगर सरस्वती नहीं लिखी तो सरस्वती यहाँ पर ईस्टर्न रिवर्स में मेंशनड है. सरस्वती which is generally identified with Ghakkar Hagar, Drishtaवती, Chautang region, Yamuna, and Ganga you will be finding. ठीक है, you can do one thing, that Saraswati को you don't consider over here. Saraswati को you consider in this only. ठीक है, सरस्वती is considered to be the 7 rivers. ठीक है, सिंधु, वितास्ता, अस्किनी, पारुषणी, विपाशा, शुतुद्री. ये तीन और ये तीन हुई, तो बची कौन सी? सरस्वती। सरस्वती को यहाँ पर आप इंक्लूड करो। ये दृष्टावती, यमुना, गंगा को अलग कर सकते हो। दृष्टावती इज ऑल्सो द पार्ट ऑफ सरस्वती, यू विल बी फाइंडिंग, ठीक है। तो इसको थोड़ा सा हम करेक्ट कर लेंगे। अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, इस पर्टिकुलर थिंग को काट के यहाँ पर आप सरस्वती को यहाँ पर इंक्लूड करो, ठीक है, सरस्वती, राइट। सो इंडस, झेलम, चेनाब, रावी, ब्यास, सतलज, सरस्वती is also known as Nadi Tarna and Nadi Uttama. Most sacred river of Rigveda you will be finding. Ganga and Yamuna are also mentioned only 2-3 times in Rigveda. That means these particular rivers are mentioned very slightly. Saraswati is mentioned 60 times. Indus is mentioned 50 times. So सबसे ज़्यादा, the most river which is being recited was Saraswati. Ganga appears only once, Yamuna appears only few times over here, right? That means they were not very aware of these particular rivers, or they were not taking the use of these rivers. That's why not considered important into their literature, right? But Western rivers also was mentioned like Kubha, Kabul, Kurmo, Kurram, Gomati, Gomal, Survastu, Swat. तो मतलब ये अफगानिस्तान वाले एरिया में, that means this indicate their presence in Afghanistan and northwestern frontiers as well. तो यहाँ पर अगर आप देख रहे हो तो इनका प्रेजेंस इस रीजन्स में भी था, राइट, विच माइट बी हाईलाइटिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, राइट, ठीक है। सो दिस इज हाईलाइटिंग अस, गिविंग अस द व्यू दैट ऋग्वेदिक सिविलाइजेशन वाज प्राइमरली कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड इन द नॉर्थ वेस्ट एंड द गंगा वैली वाज नॉट येट द मेन सेंटर, right? So in the Rigvedic people, Ganga Valley was not the main center over here. The geography you are understanding. Now first you understand from this lecture, then geographical short note you make in just 2-3 lines or 4-5 lines, right? Like this for the examination, okay? Mountains are mentioned like Himalayans were mentioned as Himavant, ठीक है। Mujavant mountain associated with Soma plant, exact identification is disputed but it is possibly in the Hindu Kush region. Other mountain ranges were also mentioned. Were they familiar with the water bodies? The word Samudra occurs several times. Interpretation ocean. Large inland water bodies are also, they might be saying this as Samudra. Important regions mentioned are as Brahmavarta. Now इन्होंने water bodies पे एक question पूछा था in your optional, like you will be finding one question they have asked, that whether these people were familiar with the oceans at that point of time, right? That we will be discussing in the weekend revision class, where we will be discussing the PYQs. We will be doing the discussion on the PYQs, right? Important regions mentioned like Brahmavart, later identified as the land between Saraswati and Drashdavati rivers. Sapt Sindhu rivers, the homeland of Rigvedic Aryans in India. ठीक है, and Aryavarth you will be finding over here. The term becomes prominent in later Vedic and post-Vedic text. Tribal geography, I will be telling you in the polity part, like all these particular Panchjanya tribe was important. This polity में बताऊंगा. And one Parushini rivers are related. In polity I will be telling you about this battle of 10 kings happened on the coast of this Parushini river, and who won? Sudas won, right? So the battle confirms the political importance of Punjab region in Rigvedic period, right? Now you find that in the later Vedic age, they shifted towards, let me show you the map. They shifted towards the east, guys. And in the east, there you will be finding this Indo-Gangetic plain, they will be shifting, right? And when they shifted to Indo-Gangetic plain, there was few dynasties who were ruling at that point of time during the later Vedic age. So later Vedic age, we get to know about several dynasties like Kuru region, Panchal region, Kuru Panchal region, Kosala, Videha, Kashi, right? So these regions we get familiar over here. Kosala, Videha, Panchal region, Kuru region dominating over here. So their influence from here to now spreading in the east. So this is showing us the movement, the migration is happening of these people now, right? So right now just see these regions. No need to study about them right now. Okay. In Mahajanpads we will be understanding. But what is being highlighted, that from the later Vedic text, it is being found that their region of dominance has moved towards east, right? And primarily because of, you will be finding because of one tool, one particular finding, that was iron metal at that point of time. They basically got to know about the utilization of iron, and I have told you that iron got found because iron needs higher temperature than the copper, right? So it was a, by chance they got familiarized with this particular tool, and slowly they understood that it is a better material, right? It is a better material with which is more durable, which is more strong, right? With the help of which they cleared down the dense forest of these regions, and they sowed in these particular regions very deep, because of which the agriculture productivity was blasted, booming at this point of time. right? Agriculture productivity boomed at this point of time, right? That's why the pastoralist, okay, I have told you, these people coming over here, migrating over here, bringing their tradition, and they were pastoralist in nature. Though this region was also fertile, but it might have it might be taking some time for them to get acquainted with agriculture, and they might not be finding agriculture suitable over here. But when they moved out in these places, agriculture will become a dominant activity, guys. This we will be discussing later on. So first of all, यहाँ पर in later Vedic age, the important rivers were Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, Gomti, and Sadanira. The Gandak you will be finding. Himalayas, Himawant, forest important over here. So this is the geographic shift you are finding of Rig Vedic to later Vedic. Now geographical shift is most important. You try to understand how you will be. Geography will decide. Geography, right? Geography will decide this. Okay. Now geography is giving you resources. Different geography, different resources. I don't know how many of you have played this Catan game. It is very interesting board game you will be finding. In that also the concept is that you have to choose a particular territory, and that territory will come up with certain advantage. For example, if you choose a certain territory, that will come up with mineral, that will come up with forest, and that will come up with one more thing is there. So this is from forest we are getting this particular logs. From mineral we are getting these minerals, right? And one more thing was there, maybe water resource or something like that, right? So in this game you have to basically build your civilization, build your forts and all. But very very famous game if you have played, guys. If not, this is not the time to play, right? So understand, like resources, geography will be giving you resources, but it will be upon the right dynasties, the right people, the right empires to utilize these resources. You might be having Upinder Singh, but to know how to utilize Upinder Singh, it requires a mindset. It requires an approach, right? So geography now will be utilized by different people. And geography, I have told you, the Rigvedic people and the later Vedic people. Okay. Now geography will give rise to the kind of economy they will pursue. When the geography was in the this Indus Sindhu region, Sub Sindhu region, the economy they were pursuing was pastoralism. And later Vedic age, they started pursuing the dominant economy was agriculture. Okay, so this is the highlight of this. That how from Gangetic plains when they went over there, they performed this agriculture. And the bifurcation is 1000 BC, 1500 to 1000 BC Rigved, 1000 BC to 600 BC is it later Vedic age. And over here one important thing which led to the finding of iron. Right. So the economy we are going to discuss now. See over here, guys. Introduction. The economy of the Rigvedic people reflect mainly in Rigveda was predominantly pastoralist. Though agriculture and craft were also known over here, it represents a semi-nomadic tribal economy in which cattle formed the chief resource of wealth, prestige and livelihood. Economic activities were organized around kinship-based tribal communities with limited trade and simple technology. I hope you are understanding this. So economy, first of all, what is their primary particular occupation? That was pastoral economy. And where this is coming, the link is coming from steppe, right? The Rigvedic economy was primarily pastoral. You will be finding cattle was the most important thing. Okay, and the wealthy person over here, a lot of terms we have found in Rigveda, like Gomat, like Gopati, like Vishti, Dohitri, Ojit, Godhuli. These all terms we have found in the Rigvedic text, right? Right, like this, you can take Govesti, Gomat, Ojit, Dohitri, Gopati, and all this is related to the term Go. Go is basically related to your guy, most important cattle, right? Now in optional, you just have to put the evidences found in literature. In your prelims, you just have to remember some of the terms over here. If easy question should come, then it might be coming from here. So cattle raids and warfare was not native to particular Indus Valley civilization, but you will be finding over here cattle raids, plunder, expedition were taking place, right? Then second, they were also taking agriculture, but that was not their primary occupation, it was secondary. So the Rigveda mentions also of sowing, that is vap, cultivation, krish and plowing as well. Crops like yava, barley, dhanya, cereal generally was present. राइस इज एब्सेंट इन अर्ली वैदिक रेफरेंसेस, तो राइस का रेफरेंस नहीं मिलेगा. एग्रीकल्चर implements like plow, khanitra, hoe, these are agriculture equipments, and these are primarily made up of wooden you will be finding, right? So the field, kshetra, fertile land, urvara we have found over here. So nature of agriculture was primitive and small scale. Rain-fed agriculture, obviously, likely supplementary to pastoral life. However, agriculture gradually gained importance towards the later Vedic phase. Crafts and occupation. Along with the economy, with three parts is coming. One is basic, second is your crafts and occupation, and third one also trade and commerce. These three dimensions you will be thinking in economy always. What is the primary occupation? Secondary means manufacturing, crafts related, and tertiary is trade related, right? Crafts and occupation. Various crafts like carpentry, chariot making was one thing, bow making, weaving was there. Was the metal use was there? Yes, IAS. But iron particularly thing they are not mentioning in Rig Veda, right? So IAS is related to metal but not related with iron. For iron you have Sham IAS, which we have found this word in later Vedic text. So it probably referred to copper or bronze. And clear evidence of iron is absent in Vedic society. Metal objects included razor, axes, and ornaments over here. Okay. Then I have told you trade and exchange. Trade was limited. It was based upon barter. Nishka, probably a gold ornament, not a coin. This particular thing this is written in your Upinder Singh, right? But in your R.S. Sharma, it is written that Nishka was a type of gold coin, important gold coin. ठीक है, ये लिखा हुआ है. Or Upinder Singh is writing it might be a gold ornament. So how you can write that Upinder Singh as per you might write this as per Upinder Singh it is a gold ornament. As per R.S. Sharma it might be a gold coin in circulation at this point of time, right? The term merchants were known as pani, sometimes referred to traders and wealthy people. Transport reference occurred to chariots, carts over here, right? Some hymns mention rivers and the ocean as well, suggesting limited riverine or maritime awareness as well, right? Then there was property and wealth concept as well. Collective ownership was there. Land and cattle were largely under clan control. Sources of wealth, cattle, war booty, gifts, right? How taxation and redistribution was happening? There was no organized taxation system. So how they were collecting the tax, how they were collecting this particular thing? By bali. Bali is basically voluntary offering, that the king can receive bali, voluntary offering, or mainly in cattle and produce form. War booty, whatever they have raided and collected, they will be redistributing among first the chief, priest, and warriors. Bacha kucha they will be in the praja, you will be seeing that they will be distributing it. Labor and slavery. Household labor. Household was the main unit of production. Family members worked collectively over here. So was slavery concept there? The Rig Veda refers to this dasas and dasis. So sometimes these terms, right now in Hindi, terms related to the slaves, right? But these were the people who at that point of time might be the indigenous people and were being captured by this particular tribe which have migrated, right? The slaves were war captives and debt bondsmen over here as well. So they were mostly employed in domestic service rather than productive labor. So the slavery is different, right? So good conclusion, the Rigvedic economy was pastoral, agrarian, tribal economy centered around cattle wealth, kinship relations and limited agriculture production. Though trade and crafts existed, economic life remained largely simple and rural. Over time, agriculture expansion, surplus production, and technological changes paved the way for more complex agrarian economy of the later Vedic age. Right? अब आ जाओ आप इकोनॉमी ऑफ द लेटर वैदिक एज. तो लेटर वैदिक एज में क्या हो जाएगा? द ज्योग्राफी इज चेंजिंग, लैंड इज मोर फर्टाइल, न्यू इक्विपमेंट्स, productivity will be more. Just wait, guys. All right. So because of that, agrarian economy will flourish, dominance of agriculture, and they will be now shifting to Ganga Yamuna Diya. Crops like barley, wheat, rice are mentioned a lot of time. Wheat is known as Goduma, barley Yava, rice Rihi. इनको ध्यान में रख लो for prelims. ठीक है. Agriculture operations like plowing, threshing, these are also mentioned. Right. So over here we have plowshare made up of iron, knives. So iron utilization will be, you will be seeing Shama IAS or Krishna IAS, black metal, dark metal, basically related for iron. अच्छा, in Rigvedic period we have got these terms as well. इसको भी देखना. And we have got in Rigveda one term as Kshetrapati. Prelims 2026, they asked about Kshetra Patni. Now this we cannot know, but Kshetrapati, protector of the fields, Kshetrapati is mentioned in Rig Veda. And 2026 you will be finding the answer was Atharva Ved, Kshetrapatni. Now this Kshetrapati is written in Upinder Singh, but Kshetrapatni is not written anywhere, guys. Apart from that, you search it down. So some questions are going to be random. Don't worry about it, right? Okay, so use of iron technology happened. Cattle rearing was there, right? Crafts and artisans of life, all these tradition was going on, right? Simple, again, simple things. No need to elaborate right now something, because you can elaborate it. This craft activity was also going on. Trade and commerce was expanding over here. No regular coinage was there, right? The trade articles exchange include like cattle, grains, gold. All this is normal information, right? Growth of surplus and taxation, you will be finding agriculture surplus was there. So bali not becomes the tax, but one term you will be finding, that is a bhag. Okay, bhag will be getting famous, guys. Okay, and there is you will be finding that there is a debate in the bali, that it became compulsory payment in the later Vedic age. Though when they are saying later Vedic age, it become compulsory payment in the form of bhag in Maurya. So Maurya have a separate taxes भाग. देखो तीन चीजें हैं, बलि and भाग over here. So bhag is basically land tax, right, which became prominent in the Mauryan administration. It might be possible that later bali was related to this bhag. This is one debate, and bali was a separate thing altogether, that is voluntary offering. And it is there that it is written in R.S. Sharma that it becomes compulsory in Gupta's time period. There is one debate, this Gupta's time period, it became compulsory because Gupta's time period is famous for forced labor. Try to understand, right? So be debatable about this particular topic over here, whatever I have highlighted. In Upinder Singh, it is written that Bali became compulsory payment in later Vedic age. But how much later? Later Vedic age we are considering till 600 BC. In R.S. Sharma, it is written that Bali was voluntary offering in Mauryan as well, but it became permanent or compulsory in Gupta time period. Try to understand, right? So there is a debate like this you will be finding. Collected from Vaishyas, peasants. Royal revenue officials as well, we will be finding like Bhagaduga, Sangri Hartri. That means they are talking about the pre-Mauryan framework. And Mauryan time period, they became important. Gramini, right? You just have to write one word that the officials were getting elaborate than the pre-Vedic or than the Rigvedic age, right? Then labor and social differentiation was there. Household was as a production unit. Social stratification was there. This we will be understanding in society. Okay, and you can write the conclusion like this over here in economy. Okay, so this you have found geography of Rig Veda and early Veda. Economy you have understood. Now your economy will be making what kind of political structure you will be having, right? Political structure of Rig Veda and later Vedic. Then we will be understanding the societal aspect, and then we will be understanding the religion aspect over here. These three topics we have to see in this now, right? And the polity, guys, polity of Rig Vedic people and of later Vedic people. Okay? In polity, you try to understand that what are the words mentioned in Rig Veda. Right now, I am going to tell you about this. Okay? See this particular Rig Veda verse. I am exactly showing you the Rig Veda verse over here. Now, this is a time of AI, and we should utilize it for our purpose as well. This you try to understand. ये ट्रांसलिटरेशन है, लेकिन ट्रांसलेशन आप समझो क्या लिखा हुआ है और कैसे हिस्टोरियंस ने फाइंड आउट किया. द पख्तास, Bhalanas, Alinas, Visanas, Sivas praised that Indra who recovered the cattle of the Arya, who slew men in battle for the Tritsus. So what we are getting over here is that there have been one famous battle of 10 kings happened. This hymn is telling us about that. The hymn celebrates the victory of King Sudas of Tritsu or a Bharat tribe. So this Bharat tribe was important in Rig Veda. We are getting that. And the king was Sudas. We are understanding that. Tribe with the support of Indra. So this King Sudas must have done certain hymns, must have recited certain hymns, and basically with the help of Indra, he won over this battle of 10 kings. Several tribes are mentioned as participants in the conflict. The names appearing in these verses are Pakta, Bhalana, Alina. This and this you will be finding, right? Remember 2-3 so that in your answers the depth of that particular political aspect, if they will be asking, that should be shown, right? Example mein Pakta, Bhalana, Alina you can write. And in all the verses, if you will be finding, they talk about these five tribes. Five tribes. So, Rig Vedic period, five tribes were important, right? Let me show you what are those five tribes, guys. Guys, right? Let me show you in this particular map. Just wait. Just wait. So over here, if you will see, there you are finding Alina, Anu, Bhrigu, Matsya, Pani, Drihu, Dasyu, Parsu, Puru. ये तो फाइव ट्राइब्स नहीं है, ये 9 ट्राइब्स हैं. Plus 1 is Bharat. This Bharat is one more tribe. So this is 10 kings. And this is Battle of 10 Kings. Happened in Parushini River. Mentioned in the Rigvedic verse. Foreigner tribes as well you will be finding in this. अब ये याद नहीं करना. This particular aspect you don't remember. But पंचजन्य को आप याद रख सकते हो. अनावास, पुरुष, त्रुशूस, ठीक है, यादूज ओवर हेयर, यादूज ओवर हेयर, ठीक है, कुछ यहाँ पर आपको देखने को मिलेगा, बट ये अलग अलग नाम है अनावास. सो in the books, how in the particular Vedic verse, how it is written in the form of this, right? But their names get changed as well. ठीक है, इनको modern day different names से भी जाना जाएगा इस वाले particular region. जैसे आप यहाँ पर देखोगे तो you will be finding Paktas, ठीक है, तो ये अनावाज एरिया में आ रहे थे, ठीक है. So this is the political framework, political tribes over here which you can remember, these 5 tribes. ठीक है, तो ऋग्वेदा में you understood that there has to be a king, and from the Tritsus you understand, okay, Tritsus, that means Bharat tribe, we had a king, right? And king will be assisted by Purohit and military commander, that is Senani. This information I am giving you from R.S. Sharma, right? You must have gone through as well. If not, don't worry. Now king will be ruling over the clan, and the clan highest political unit was known as Jana, right? And he will be ruling it with the help of certain assemblies known as Sabha, Samiti and Videtas. So king was not a huge king at that point of time. He was like a chief of a clan. So a small clan is there and is a chief there, and he is not having absolute powers. He's not having absolute powers, guys, right? Rather, he has to take decisions on the basis of deliberation done in the assemblies like Sabha, Samiti and Videtas. And then he had to take the decisions. And sometimes, most of the times, it is found that he has been elected as well. यहाँ पर elected king used to be there, right? Now Jana is the highest political unit. ठीक है, so how these political units are built up of? The smallest unit was Kul. Kul was the household, right? Then several Kul will be coming and joining together will be made as Gram. Then Gram will be joining together, will be made as Vis. Different Grams will be coming. Different Vis will be joining together and will be becoming Jana. Jana, Vis, Gram and Kul. This is the political order. Like you find village, taluk, district, state, country. आज की डेट में आप ऐसे देखते हो, तो this way you will be finding this as well. ठीक है. So this is the provincial setup, how the kingdoms are divided over here. This is the central setup, how this is, and this is less elaborate. Means a lot of officials you will not find. Simple chief based alliance or simple chief based administration you will be finding. ठीक है, तो tribal nature कैसा था? Tribal nature of polity कैसा था? Tribal, pastoral and clan based. Political organization was based on kinship, lineage and tribal identity. The highest political unit was Jana. Jana कैसे बना? कुल से ग्राम, ग्राम से विश, विश से जना, जना एक ट्राइब है. समझ रहे हो? Now if I am the king, you try to understand, and I am ruling over these Jana. Jana means tribe. So my tribe is having allegiance towards me, not to the territory. Territory में allegiance नहीं है. King को answerable है यहाँ पर, right? Understanding. Whereas when Janapad is going to get important in the later Vedic period, so people will be attached to Janapad. King will be attached to Janapad. So wherever king will go, it is not like that these people will be appreciating the king. No. Let me just make you understand again this. Suppose this is a territory, and in this territory, Jana are important. Tribe is important, and these are pastoralist in nature, so they will be moving to the fresh land. A land से B land में जा सकते हैं. But this Jana is having ex-king. Right? So when Jana will be moving from here to here, this X will remain the king. Why? Because Jana is important to king, and for Janas, for the tribe, king is important. Allegiance of Jana is to king X, and X allegiance is towards Jana. Right? This is the type of tribal polity when economy was pastoralist. Now you know agriculture has made them fixed at a place only. And the particular thing, when they are settling at a one place, now not people but the territory will become important. And now the king, for king, this territory of A is important. He is having allegiance over this Janpad, and this Janpad is owing him allegiance. That means whoever will be coming over here has to obey this king. They cannot take their new king over here, or if they want to take over here their new king, they have to fight. Are you understanding? That means if these people will be moving out to a fresh place, that means whoever will be coming to this territory, they have to treat this personality as a king, because now king is associated with a Janpad, not associated with a Jana. तो ये लोग कहीं मर्जी जाएं, डजेंट मैटर, किंग की अथॉरिटी इनके ऊपर है, उन लोगों के ऊपर नहीं है. अब ये लोग चाहते हैं कि मैं बी पे जाके सेटल हो जाओ, बट आपके किंग तो ये रहेंगे इसी जनपद के. समझ रहे हो? तो एक बेसिक डिफरेंस यहां पर आपको देखने को मिलेगा इन ऋग्वेदिक टाइम पीरियड एंड लेटर वैदिक टाइम पीरियड. द राजन वॉज द हेड, नॉट एन एब्सोल्यूट मोनार्क, प्राइमरली अ ट्राइबल चीफ. क्या रोल था? मिलिट्री रोल था, रिलीजियस रोल था, ठीक है, ये सब करना था. एंड ही इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड समवेयर गोपा एंड गोपति बिकॉज इज अ lord of cattle, right, protector of cattle, right. He performed sacrifices with priest and had some commanders as well, ठीक है. So nature of kingship was kingship, semi hereditary. Authority, basis of power was tribal support. Authority was limited, and state structure not elaborative, absent, right. Tribal assemblies role was very important. I told you sabha, it was a smaller assembly. Elite body included elders and nobles. sabha तो इसका judicially advisory और deliberative function था. फिर आप देखोगे समिति, समिति लार्जर ट्राइबल असेंबलीज, और इसमें वुमेन भी पार्टिसिपेट किया करती थी, राइट. देन आप देखोगे विधाता, विवाहता ओवर हेयर ऑल्सो इट इन्वॉल्व्स वुमेन एज वेल. सोशो रिलीजियस गैदरिंग, रिचुअल्स, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन, मिलिट्री फंक्शंस यहाँ पर कंट्रीब्यूट होते थे. तो ट्राइबल असेंबलीज आर इंपॉर्टेंट, यस इंपॉर्टेंट. Then you will be finding, ठीक है, so in polity of Rigvedic period this is important. So this is the introduction which you can have of Rigvedic polity. Few more things like warfare and military organization was basically Gavasti, search for cows. Battle of 10 Kings I have already told you, right. It fought on the Parushini river over here, if you will find, ठीक है, this already seen. Administration system very simple, not elaborative. Purohit was there, performed rituals. Revenue system only Bali, this we have already seen, right. So I told you that Jana is important over here, but in later Vedic period, because of economy change हो गई. यहाँ economy got changed. That means people are now not in search of land. They are now liking their land so much that they have invested over there, created towns, created their, not towns but created their home, right. So the allegiance is towards the land now. They are finding land to be more like associated with them, right. So Janapada will get important in later Vedic period. So whoever be the king over here, he will remain the king of this particular place. If these people do not want to live over here and they want to move into some next place, they have to obey the ruler of this particular place. Are you understanding? This is how kings and the territory become important. पहले ऐसा नहीं था. पहले अगर मैं वैसे तभी बता रहा हूँ, अगर ये अर्ली वैदिक पीरियड होता तो this clan, if this moved over here, they would have taken their king over here only. X would have been their ruler, or they would be saying that my Raja is X only, right. So I hope you are understanding. This is two-way. Later Vedic period, the transition from tribe to territorial state, Janapada. The Jana was the basis of polity earlier. Now territorial units and kingdoms emerged. For example, in the, अब मैंने आपको बताया था early Rigvedic period में Panchajanya were important. Over here what will be happening, that these Bharats will be winning the war and they will be now expanding over here and merging themselves with Purus. So Bharat and Purus will now be known as Kurus, and Kurus has the dominance in this northwestern part in the later Vedic period, right. So large state they have formed, जैसे भारत पुरुष कुरुस, त्रुवाशुस एंड क्रिवीज पांचालास, ये दो नाम ध्यान में रख लो, राइट. These larger state dominated the Indo-Gangetic divide and Upper Ganga Valley as well, right. When this particular, now you are understanding, this king is dominating in the region. Now he knows that I have absolute powers. Will he be you try to understand, will he be involved in discussions? Will he want that discussion should happen, deliberation should happen with the assemblies? No, he will right now try to consolidate power, guys. Why? Because उसको एक ही जगह में consolidation चाहिए, एक ही जगह में वो ruler है. So his authority is now for the जनपद, ठीक है. लोगों के लिए अब वो काम नहीं कर रहा, वो इस लैंड के लिए काम कर रहा है. इस लैंड में कोई भी रहेगा, वो authority who will be under his authority, like they will be under his authority, right. So this particular personality will be changing his approach, and you will be finding they will try to consolidate more and more power into him only, so that he will remain the king of this particular Janpat. So that's why there will be the change of nature of the monarchy. The monarchy will be become territorial ruler, will be having greater authority, and will not be listening to the assemblies much. Right, and will become hereditary as well over here. So absolute powers will be coming over here. Okay, now he is not deriving his powers from the assemblies or the people. He is deriving his deriving his power through some almighty, divine. That's why the divine theory will be coming henceforth. Right. So Samrat, Ekrat will be the title they will be taking. Kingship increasingly become hereditary. Okay, rule of 10 generation as well we have seen. Though traces of election survived, but they mostly represented formal approval or ratification of succession. Okay, decline of tribal assemblies, I have told you, Sabha Samhita continued to exist but lost importance. Okay, so this all we have understood already. Growth of administration. When king is becoming absolute, now he will want a hierarchy. He will want a bureaucracy under him. So Purohit, Senani, Gramini, Bhagadugga, Sangritri, these all officials will be coming, and these all officials will start coming up in this time period of later Vedic age, but you will be understanding it in modern administration more, because from the administration point of view, modern is more important. So all these names you will be finding over there as well, right? There was importance of Purohit, yes, to legitimize that particular king. Purohits become important, and they have been important throughout. Now these kings will be now involved in more royal rituals like Rajsuya, Ashwamedh, Vajpayee, और इसकी वजह से simultaneously Samved, oh sorry, not Samved, Yajurved was elaboratively building as well. Now you try to understand parallelly literature and its effect on society as well, you are finding, right? So this is happening over here. Okay. And emergence of territorial consciousness means राष्ट्र. तो ये टर्म एक दो बार आता है, बट इसका रियल मीनिंग ऑफ टुडेज राष्ट्र इज डिफरेंट. ठीक है, तो राष्ट्र का टर्म आपको देखने को मिलेगा दैट पीपल आर नाउ सेम थिंग, दैट नाउ दे आर फीलिंग मोर कनेक्टेड टू द लैंड, नॉट टू द ट्राइब, राइट? So this is the political feature which I have made you understood. With respect to economy, you have understood that how economy matters, and with respect to economy matters because of this geography, right? This you understand over here. Now we will be moving ahead and we will be seeing the society over here. Society, important societal aspect, and then the religious aspect we will be understanding as I have to, right? Now सबसे पहले अगर if you want to talk in society, you will be talking about, देखो, Rigvedic society and later Vedic society. As per our findings, as per the scholarship, you will be finding that there was a huge change in Rigveda and in later Vedic period, right? First of all, in Rigveda, we will be talking about, was there any social stratification? क्या कोई social stratification थी? दोनों में बात होगी, इधर भी बात होगी और इधर भी बात होगी, right? Later Vedic period पे भी बात होगी. So you will say, yes, there was social stratification, and at this point of time, there was clear stratification. Whereas in Indus Valley civilization, there was not a clear stratification which we were getting. We were getting just on the basis of households, burials. But now over here, we have got the literary reference of that as well. So social stratification was there. Was there the term Varna in Rigvedic? Yes, there was the term. But Varna means the basically fourfold division was not there. Varna, as to be the Varna in Rigveda, means rang, right? It is a color, right? So Varna was there, like Sham Varna, dark colored, white colored. This term was there, but it was the basis of classification of people into four division was not there. Whereas in later part, you will be finding that yes, there was classification like this. Yes, there was social stratification on the basis of Varna. Then you will be finding, was there Brahmins? Yes. Was there priests? Yes, same thing. Was there this soldiers or Kshatriya? Yes, this clan was also, this word also we have found over here, Kshatriya, this Brahmana. And we have found also the Vaishya term as well in Rigvedic time period or in Rigvedic texts. Whereas in later Vedic period, we are finding more elaborate system where these are basically well divided into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So Shudras mentioned we have started seeing in the end of Rigveda, and rest in later Vedic period a lot of mention is there. A lot of rules are there. In Dharma Sutras you will be finding the rules. Try to understand first of all. So this system somewhere is getting elaborative over here, which was otherwise not elaborative in this particular period. Understand? And then there was one Rigvedic hymn in the 10th mandal, which was which was added later on. That's why we consider it as of later Vedic time period, because of conjunction with the things which we have got over here, and that is the Purushukta hymn. Purushukta hymn, right? तो एक बारी we will once we will be discussing this about over here. So this is varna in the Rig Veda. ठीक है? Meaning of varna, that is color, light appearance, dark appearance, over where you will be finding. Only sometimes linked with Arya or Dasa Dasyu's distinction. It does not yet mean caste order in later sense, which is later sense में. तो अभी it is not fixed. Arya, Dasa, Dasyus, what do these terms means? These terms, the Rig Veda describe Dasa, Dasyus as enemies, using terms like Avrat, not following Vedic rites, Akratu, not performing sacrifices, Mitravacha, hostile, rough and improper speech. So it is an analysis, interpretation that these might be aboriginals or people living over there, right? So modern scholarly position, earlier क्या बोलते थे? Fair Aryans, Aryans were fair and dark were aboriginals over here. But largely it is symbolic in nature, but it is treated as, now what is the basically current position is that these terms are ambiguous and symbolic. Some epithets are used for Indo-Aryan groups too. तो इनको ऐसा बोला जाता है that these Dasyas and Dasyus might be the early Aryans who might have migrated early. समझ रहे हो? तो they have settled over there. So after getting lost, they might have got these names as well. Something like this you will be finding, one theory says. Distinctions like cultural, ritual, linguistic, not strictly racial. Racial distinction nahi hua hoga, but the distinction would be based upon this, not on the basis of color. Alright. Some scholars link Dasa and Dasyu for Iranian and Dahuyu groups as well. Alright. So this you will be finding. Okay. So there is not consensus, debatable at this point of time as well, this particular part. Now, was there any social categories already existing? Yes, Brahmana and Kshatriya, but not as caste, right? But as a profession. Not linked with Varna term, not clearly birth-based. Brahmins described by Soma drinking, hymn recitation. Status seemed functional, not hereditary. Vaishya and Shudra were not absent in family books. I told you that only 2 to 7 family books are important. Usme se bhi Vishwamitra, Atri and Vasisht are very important. So these terms Vaishya and Shudra do not appear. Right, so this shows us that this fourfold system of society is a later phenomena. Right, so the first clear fourfold reference we have got from the Purushukta hymn, which might have been later on added. Right, book 10 later layer. So this are saying that there is a Purush over here which sacrifice himself, and from there you will be finding Brahmana, mouth, from the arm Kshatriya, from the thighs Vaishya, and from the feet Shudra. Right. And evidence of social mobility also we get in Rig Veda, that in Rig Veda there was flexibility, that one want to change its profession, they can change, right? Okay, so nature of early Vedic social order was kinship based ranking, role based distinction, like are you a priest, are you a warrior, are you a common people, respect differences, wealth differences was there. So like this you are going to find. So this is the Varna in the Rig Vedic system. Whereas if you will see Varna hierarchy in later Vedic age, now let me tell you, now the hierarchy will be coming. Later Vedic texts show, like Brahmans, early Upanishads, show that Varna system became structured, hereditary and hierarchical. What was earlier fluid social differentiation now becomes a normative social order backed by ritual ideology. समझ रहे हो? Now over here status of Brahmanas. अब इसको क्या कर रहे हैं आपने इस पूरी स्लाइड को? देखो, one thing which I was doing, that I was transforming it into the PDFs format, but it was taking time for me to copy the same content and keep it in the picture format, right? Sorry, PDF format, or this particular PDF that A4 sheet side format, right? But that was creating a lot of time, right? Because of which I could generate more points. I could find out more points with respect to a particular topic. Okay, so what you can do is, if you are watching this, make a short note of these particular part, because these are elaborative writing over here, guys, right? So status of Brahmanas were top over here. Brahmanas occupies the highest ritual over here, highest ritual rank, right? They were associated with sacrifice, Vedic knowledge, teachings. Okay, and this was linked with Brahmanas as well. Okay, and privileges from the society they were getting. You will be finding this. Then Kshatriya, Again, one class, important class associated with political and military power. This you all must be knowing. Then there is a Vaishya class where you will be finding they are treated as the producers. Producers base you will be finding over here. And they are the providers of Bali, tribute. Then you will be finding Shudras, the lowest Varna is identified as to be the lowest. Why? Because they have to serve the other three Varnas over here. Over here, they also talk about that these three are Dvija, twice born, whereas twice born, so they are they can apply for this particular sacred thread ceremony, right? Whereas the Shudras are not related to that, you will be finding, and they are not accessible to the higher, like Rig Vedic studies, like sacrificial studies, you will be finding. So they were somewhere discriminated a lot over here, right? And this अभी तो यहाँ पर शायद शुरू हुआ होगा, but this went on consolidating these societal norms went on consolidating, guys, right? Right. So over here you will be finding these sutras position was you will be finding always discriminatory and bottom in later Vedic ideology. Then you will be finding the mention of slaves and low groups as well. Later on you will be finding these were below slaves, below Shudras, right? This you will be finding, but rare exceptions show mobilities as well. Chandalas and early outcast also you will be finding later on. Okay, later Vedic texts mention Chandala with contempt, right? Then these might be related to the untouchables. Clear systemized untouchability is not yet fully formed in later Vedic texts, but later on in Gupta's period you will be finding this as well. Okay, expansion and assimilation of new groups also were having over here. And Varna ideology, not full social reality, you will be finding, because certain texts says that there was mobility as well, but later on it consolidated. Okay, and Varna is still reflected in present day society. That's why in GS1 society question you have got this, that Varna has some elements which has remained fixed throughout and some elements which have been flexible. Like in the urban areas you will not talk to someone on the basis of Varna in urban setup, but in the village setup you always be careful about the Varna. People are always careful about the Varna, right? Jati, right? So this you will be finding with respect to Varna. So in society, I have told you about first Varna classification, you have understood. Social stratification basically you have understood. And now you see the woman position over here in early Vedic period. Woman position, now we will be highlighting. The family books 2 to 7 of the Rig Veda give us scattered but important clues about gender relations, household structure. And this older writers often called the Vedic age as the golden age, but modern scholarship takes a more balanced and evidence-based view. Wonderful introduction you can have with the society. Okay. Recognizing both spaces of participation and structure of patriarchy as well. I told you the connection between how come from Indus Valley society this patriarchal setup came. That is connected with the steppe theory. I hope you can utilize that information as well. Okay. So you will be finding historiography from golden age to gender analysis. They will be done by the modern approach, where they will be focused on gender relation, not just status of woman. Household is equal to power structure, like household is related to the power structure, and this will be reflected in the society as well. For example, in your household, how inheritance happened, that will play a major role. All right, how sexuality is controlled, who is having the control over sexuality. Sexuality means the reproduction, right? How much children, how many children, who has the control over this? Ritual access, who has the control over participating in the yagyas? Okay. And labor, who is allowed to do the labor and produce the fruit of it in the terms of income, right? So they are taking all these accounts over here, not just woman based approach that status of woman was there. Okay, argued women had a high position, but goddesses were, because goddesses were worshipped, some hymns composed by women sages mentioned. But this is often a response to colonial criticism and social reform needs as well, right? Because this doesn't justify that women were having a very good golden age in that particular time period, because still we worship goddesses, but it doesn't mean that it is a safe place for women. You try to understand, right? So this is one argument which they give. But I told you that there might have been a time where women might be respected, not only respected, they might have the upper hand over the society. Okay, and I told you that patriarchy might be a new phenomenon, right? This is a debate as well. Now women, yes, we have seen them in religion and learning, right? Both present but limited. ठीक है, अभी आप evidence based दे रहे हो. It is not that every woman was present in religion and learning, and their role was also limited. Some women seers are mentioned, like Ghosh you will be finding, Lopamudra you will be finding. But women composed very small number of hymns, like 12, 15 out of 1,000. And there were more restrictions. No woman priest mentioned. Women cannot be the priest. Do not perform sacrifices independently. They have to be with their husband. Participated mainly as wives in husband rituals. Not shown as givers of dan or receivers of dakshina. And it suggested limited access to sacred knowledge system. There might have been an opening, but that opening might have been for a normal, for some people, elite people, right? That can be the case. Also, to generalize a woman's status, it is also not right. You try to understand. Today, if I want to talk about the woman position in today's 21st century society, I will be talking about class-based differentiation. What is the problem of the women in living in urban areas and are having elite background? Living in urban areas are having middle class background. Living in urban areas are having low class background. All women are having different restrictions and different access to resources. Similar case you will be seeing in village. So this is the right way of judging or writing a particular, or basically understanding a particular gender based understanding of a society, like we are doing of women over here, right? And this will be one of the criticism, because we have highlighted only these might have been the elite people over here, elite women over here, right? Second, goddesses is not equal to social equality. Female deities exist, but major gods dominate. Like in male gods more dominate. Okay? Worship of goddesses you will be finding, but important, you will be finding goddesses is not equal to social equality for women, right? Nature of the household system shows patriarchy and patrilineal. I hope you know this word. Patriarchal means that property will be transferred in the name of son, not daughter, right? Patrilineal means that you will be finding that the particular your family will be moving ahead in the name of the son only, right? This is patrilineal, right? And over here, if it is going in the name of the mother, that is matrilineal, right? And there is one more word, that is patrilocal. Patrilocal means when marriage is happening and wife is coming to the husband house. Patrilocal. Matrilocal means when marriage is happening and husband is going to the wife house. That is very rare in the Indian societies, right? So it shows that male headed household, descent through male line, sons strongly preferred. Ask, that's why in the prayers ask for more sons, not daughters. And sonlessness means for misfortune as well. Okay, so this you will be finding over here. Then marriage patterns were shown, like monogamy was there. This marriage patterns is a different thing, right? That you can write as a third point apart from women. Okay. That many marriages like monogamy, polygyny, polyandry also, but very rare. Polyandry you will be finding in certain tribal areas of like Jaunsar Babar, Kinnor area, if you will be seeing where a woman marries 3-4 brothers, right? 3-4 husbands she will be having, right? So this you will be finding over here. Women in public and social life, yes, there were cases. Property, labor and control was, they had little, women had little control over here, right? And I will be telling you about one thing now. So these are the all things you will be finding over here. अब आप इसमें आओ that who were ब्रह्मवादिनीज. आपको मैं एक क्वेश्चन दिखाता हूँ और ये क्वेश्चन देखो, ये आया था यूपीएससी प्रीलिम्स में. One of the toughest question I would say, and still people of today's who are preparing 3-4 attempts might have given, they have given. ये क्वेश्चन आज भी difficult लगेगा आप लोगों को, ठीक है? Very good question. How it can be again framed, we will be seeing. And on the basis of this, I will explain you the concept of Brahmavadinis. These are the females who studied Vedas, who were not interested in the household life. Like they wanted to study, they wanted to learn, right? And they engaged in philosophical inquiry of that time. Today, if you want to study, you will be studying about a lot of subjects you are having: engineering, science, social sciences, arts, architecture, law, right? At that point of time, studies, I have told you, there were 4 disciplines. And the women who were more engaged in the philosophical inquiry were basically this Brahmavadins, Vedas related inquiry. Sometimes remain unmarried or delayed marriage to pursue learning. And jo woman who went early and who married early and focused on household life was known as Sadhyavadu. So I have certain Brahmavadris which are important. Now I will be giving you 5 minutes to differentiate between them. Let me see how many of you are able to differentiate between them. Right? Like differentiate means you can group them and you can find the odd one out as well. For example, Lopamutra is related to Rigved. Ghosha related to Rigved. So they are women seers. Right? Matre, Upanishad, not Rigved. Apala, ऋग्वेद। तो ये तीनों आपको एक साथ डाल सकते हो, आप डाल सकते हो। विश्वरा, यस, इसको भी डाल सकते हो, इनको भी डाल सकते हो, राइट, विश्वरा। एंड गार्गी इज रिलेटेड टू उपनिषद। तो गार्गी एंड मैत्रेयी आर रिलेटेड टू Upanishadic tradition, whereas all these four female are related to Rigvedic tradition. This can be your next prelims question anytime. ठीक है, but be clear with it. अब who among the following Brahmavadini who composed some hymns of the Vedas? Rigveda she is talking about. Gargi Upanishad. Leelavati will be coming later on. Savitri not related to this. Lopamudra will be your answer. ठीक है, ठीक है. So this conclusion you will be finding over here. The Rigvedic family books reflect a patriarchal and patrilineal household order in which women participated in rituals and social life but had limited access to priesthood, sacred learning, and puberty. While traces of flexibility in marriage and mobility existed, gender relations were structured by male authority and control over lineage and resources. But obvious, you will be finding a balanced conclusion for you. इस पे focus करो, read it multiple times, and like create your vocabulary with respect to this. Perfect, right? But with respect to this, you will be finding this was the early Vedic society position of women. In the later Vedic society, it was bad, really bad, and later on it gets deteriorated. Women position really gets deteriorated, right? Now you see the gender and household or gender role, woman role in the later Vedic. You will be finding that household is important, right? And it was run by the patriarchal setup. This you have understood, and this was the case as well. Grihapati. Only a married man with a legitimate wife could become a yajman over here, right? The patrilineal, that means lineage will be transferring from the father side, and male authority was there. Father son inheritance, patrilineal descent, and ancestor worship was also the culture. So hierarchy within a family was husband has more power with respect to wife, father is more important than son, elder means enjoyed greater authority, right? And women were generally defined in relation to men as wife, mother, bearer of sons, and keeping the household, like the you will be finding all the household jobs she has to do. But again, ये एक plain statement है. You will be finding in the village areas, you will be seeing that women were doing the role in agriculture production as well, right? And this has been since ages. This has been continued since ages, right? Marriage systems, Viva became institutionally crucial. Function of marriage was continuation of patrilineages, ritual eligibility, and formation of household. The forms of marriage which are mentioned are arranged marriage as well, marriage by capture as well, and these are written in the sutras, guys, right? Bride choice, okay, and but limited reference we have over here, okay, and widow remarriages also we are finding over here. Marriage patterns generally generally monogamy, but polygyny is also seen. Polyandry rare. I have told you two tribes. You can remember that, and you must be knowing that Kinnaur, Tonsar, Babar region. This is being practiced. Okay. Then marriage ideology in Surya Sukta of Rig Veda, it is mentioned the marriage hymn presents the bride as auspicious prosperity pairing, whereas positive aspect is this, right? Negative is outsider to husband's lineage and potentially ritually dangerous as well. So these rituals were required for incorporation of a female into a new family, ritual purification and neutralization of symbolic dangers as well, right? Contradiction in gender relations like women in ritual life, yes. Gargi and Maitri you have seen. Property and inheritance, no. Over here you will be finding. Okay. But there is reality you will be finding that women could access this Sridhan as well. Okay. But for most of the student it was not the case, right? Position of women declined, growing emphasis on son preference, increased control over female sexuality, expansion of patriarchal norms as well you will be finding over here, right? So this is one thing over here with respect to the household and society of Rigveda and later Vedic period. अब आपका जो last रह गया है वो है religious aspect. Try to understand the religious aspect now. Religious connection again, remember Stepi theory, why warlords are appreciated. ठीक है, अब मैं आपको वहां लेके चलता हूँ. Now, religion you try to understand of the early Vedic period. First of all, religion is the most important thing, most crucial thing of the people's life, right? Because of religions, pyramids were made. Because of religions, Mount Kailash was made, right? And a lot of magical things happened because of religion, because it gave people the purpose to put united efforts, right? So, crucial thing over here. So, how was the Rigvedic religion? Was it based upon Rig Veda? Was it based upon temple worship? You will say huge no. No, sir. Right. Was it based upon rituals? Yes. Rather than rituals, you will be finding important. Yajnas are very important. Yagnas. Yagya. Right. Yes, this was the case. Was that based upon chanting, hymns? Yes, religion, it can come. Was these about gods? Yes, these were about gods, and gods personified, like natural thing personified over here, right? For example, Indra, Varun, Agni, right? Was there gods idols which they kept in temple? No. Idols थे? No. Idols also you were not having. तो अब मैं आपको ऋग्वेद में ले चलता हूँ और आपको मैं बताता हूँ द डाइटीज विच वर वर्शिप्ड इन ऋग्वेदा. अब आपको ध्यान रखना है इंद्र, अग्नि, सोम, वरुण, right? And Indra is the most powerful deity. Mitra, Surya, but all these are mentioned in Rigveda as well, right? Ushas, Ashwinis, Ashwins, Rudra, Vishnu as well, right? And Indra, Agni are all the highest times they are invoked over here, right? So if you will be seeing this particular slide very elaborated, let me show you the major deities. Indra, most invoked. Agni. Som is important over here. Som in early Vedic period was very, very important. You try to understand early Vedic tribe, early Vedic period, their whole economy was based upon raids, accumulation, right? Cattle was important to them, right? Now they have to fight. When they have to fight, they need some ritual so that gods can favor them. They want the favor of higher power, you can say. And for them, the higher power was Indra, like Battle of Ten Kings and the sacrifice performed by King Sudas. Now, in that particular thing, there was a Soma ceremony. There are two things related to Soma, a ceremony as well and a drink as well, right? Soma ceremony, generally what happens, that Indra is invoked and it is considered that our Lord Indra will be drinking Soma and the performer of that yajna will also be drinking Soma. And you will be finding that this drink might be giving some power over here, right? Some kind of extra energy it might be giving. You can say that it was having some medicinal property which was creating adrenal rush type of things, like which sport person used to take right now in different forms, right? I'm just comparing it with the scholarly interpretations, right? So this there might have been drink because this has been invoked n number of times and there is a deity with respect to that which has been invoked, right? And this particular material which is being made of it is debated, and this might have given some supernatural power. Supernatural power means extra power, like you will not be feeling sleepy, you will be very active, right? Like this properties will come inside you. Okay, okay. So this was happening with respect to this Soma. Varuna is very important, guys. You try to understand in early Vedic, in Rigveda, Indra is invoked a lot of times. Indra is considered to be the god of desires, like whatever you desire. And at that point of time, the highest desire was to get that particular cattle, to get that particular resource, right? And for that, you will be invoking Indra. And Indra considered to be a great god at that point of time. Varuna is considered to be a asura in Rigvedic literature. Hear me again. In Rigveda, Varuna is termed to be as a asura. But in Rigveda tradition, asura is not a bad word. Asura in Rigveda, asura becomes a bad word like a demon in later on period. Asura right now will mean that one who doesn't drink sura, and it is a good word. Asura means it is a good word over here, right? Good word, right? So Varuna is a god who is a asura, who is the god of calmness, who is the god of who will like who is the god of flow, right? Maintain the flow, calm, wisdom. So Varuna you will be finding like this. And there is a word which is with respect to Varuna, that he is the god of maintaining Reeth, right? Or Rita, right? So Varuna, moral overseer, cosmic order god, punisher with bonds, all seeing, all pervasive. तो इनको ऋग्वेद की हाइम में क्या कहा गया? असुरा. I'll be showing you that particular verse as well. But asura later on get demonized. Like for example, like asura means demons, right? But that is not right in the Rigvedic context. Now sun, Vayu, Ashwins, Vishnu, not over here, minor रहेंगे ये यहाँ पर, ठीक है? Not very great. रुद्र का भी mention होगा but not very great. ये primary ये लोग हैं, right? You try to understand the economy is functioning on fighting. On fighting you need the supernatural powers with you, so you come up with these sacrifices, you will be evoking these gods. But as you will transform into an agriculturist based society, now your economy is not based upon raids, your economy is based upon cultivation. So you need peace, harmony, which was there in Indus Valley civilization. That's why now there will be this desire of invasion will be cancelled out. That's why you will be finding Indra later on. You will not finding in the temples Indra worship will be happening or Indra idols are there. No. Why? And in Puranic stories, Indra is also downplayed, not considered very high. Why? Because now the people, society must have decided, and who is deciding it? The elite class is deciding it, that now we should prefer the gods who will be preferring peace, right? For example, you will be finding Prajapati becomes important later on. So Vishnu become important later on than Indra, right? Krishna become important later on than Indra, right? So these are the changes which you will be finding in the society as well. Harmony rather than aggression, peace rather than raids or wars, right? This you will be finding. Were goddess present in Rig Veda? Yes, like Usha, Aditi, Saraswati, Prithvi. एक बार आप देख लीजिए. These goddesses were present over here, right? अब यहाँ पर आओ. No temples, no idols were there, right? These were fire centers, chant centered, ritual centered, but no temples, no image worship, no idol cult, right? There was type of polytheism, like many gods personify natural forces, fire, sun, dawn over here. Okay. You will be finding this is about the this you will be finding that these priests were used to do these sacrifices. Nature of Rigvedic religion, ritual centered. Gods were there, devas, right? Gandharvs, also type of supernatural beings like Gandharvs, Apsaras, Rakshasas for demons, right? Pishachas, spirits of dead as well. Over here you will be finding. Okay. So in this particular part, I have added decline of Indra, rise of Prajapati, early Rigvedic phase, Indra, warfare, later Vedic phase, increasing prominence of Prajapati, creation, sacrifice, cosmic order, right? So this reflects a shift from warrior-centered society towards a more organized ritual society. Now you see, are Asuras older than Devas? Asuras in earliest Vedic text is not a negative word. Even Varun and Mitra were called Asura, right? Later on, Deva becomes positive and Asura becomes demonic. And Varuna is considered to be the all-seeing god, omnipresent, omniscient, watchful, guardian of model order, Reeth, right? Whereas Indra, warrior, hero, conqueror, you will be finding. देखो ये वाला ऋग्वेद की वर्ड्स की बात कर रहा था मैं यहाँ पर. O Varuna, by our salutation, by sacrifices, by offerings, we seek to avert your displeasure. मतलब avert your displeasure. आप दुखी हो वो हम नहीं चाहते. O Asura, O all knowing one, O king dwelling among us, loosen the sins that we have committed. आप वरुणा के सामने अपने sins commit कर रहे हैं, right? Early concept of sin, loosen the sins that we have committed. Varuna is called Asura. Asura is an honorific title like mighty lord, powerful divine being, right? It is not the later Puranic meaning of demon. I hope I made my point clear. In later Vedic age, what you will be finding that now it will be now towards you will be finding domestic rituals. Rituals will be ritual based societies will be more now, guys. People, because now these Yajurved will be compiled, and I told you over there was Griha Sutras were being compiled as per Dharam Sutras, I have told you. So as per that they have to follow. So ritual based society will be more. Royal rituals are happening, home rituals are happening, right? And over here you will be finding Brahman texts were getting like ritual system at its peak, like Brahmanas were getting compiled over here. Okay. And the Prajapati, Lord of creatures, become important, right? Vishnu will be becoming important over here. Movement towards unity of the divine. Later hymns increasingly stressed upon many gods, one underlying reality. Truth is one, sages call it by different names, right? This you will be finding. And there was a later Vedic hymns present multiple creation models, not fixed doctrine. Like Purush sacrifice model you will be finding. Golden embryo model you will be finding. ठीक है, solar emanation model you will be finding as well over here, and I will be comparing it with the Indus Valley civilization in my weekend live class. Over there we will be discussing. It will be more nice when I'll be asking you questions and you will be giving me the answers as well. ठीक है, then I'll be telling you more about it, right? So you will be finding Vedic literature got compiled, ritual and sacrifices, Prajapati, Rudra, Vishnu, symbolic worship. Rudra, you will be finding a god of Shudras, sacrifices became important, right? And the position, when this is happening, you will be finding one class will be becoming prominent, and one class which will be becoming prominent like Brahmans. And when Brahmans are becoming prominent, so there will be some notorious activities which will also be happening in the society. So reaction will come. Reaction came in the form of 64 different religious ideas, I mean 64 different ideas of living. Out of that, two ideas become important, that is Buddhism and Jainism, right? That we will be discussing later on, right? So this was your overall understanding of political geography, economy, polity, society, and religion. Now in the weekend class, we'll be solving the question as well, and we'll be developing our understanding more. Now you understand about two phases over here. OCP phase, I have already told you. One phase which coincided with this was painted graveyard culture. And the most important personality was BL Lal over here. A great personality, BB Lalji. He was the former DG of ASI, and he has done various breakthrough works, and one of the work was excavation of PJW culture. He gave the proof of a lot of things with this particular excavation, guys. Now this coincided with the later Vedic age, you are understanding, and it marks the transition from later Harappan culture to early Vedic as well, right? Painted graveyards you will be finding certain places like Hastinapur, Indraprasth, Artranji Khera, Kamra, Siswal, Barat. These are certain places which you know, right? In mapping class, I will be telling you exact PGW sites which they have asked and which more we can remember, right? Over here also PGW, grey pottery, black design, siren tools you will be finding over here, right? Fine grey potteries you will be seeing. Okay, so like this you will be finding the remnants, and this was preserved. This was basically highlighted that, and one important fact which I'll be telling you, that BB Lal when excavated PGW, so there was the links that made the myth which a general idea is Mahabharata is a myth, but PGW is the clue which links Mahabharata to the actual reality, this archaeological aspect. So the archaeological aspect which we have over here is the OCP phase in the Rigvedic time frame and or Chalcolithic time frame, and the PGW phase which is giving us the archaeological evidences. Otherwise, we are heavily inclined towards the literary aspect as when it is coming to the understanding of Vedic age, right? The PGW is giving us certain hints with respect to the pottery as well, right? Okay, so this was all in the later this Vedic age. I think we have covered every aspect. In the in this particular weekend class, in this live class, what we will be doing is we'll be discussing all the PYQs, and once for all, we will be closing our analysis understanding with respect to that. Okay, thank you so much, guys. If you will be having any doubt, you can connect with me. All the best. I will be meeting you in the next class, right?